Your Grand Rising, It's Coach Renz. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. We are talking about today, in fact, about how hell doesn't exist. I want that one to be good. We're going to talk about the truth about hell. We're going to break it down. Trying to get everything the way we want to have it. I don't like the lighting on that one, but it's okay. It's okay. We're going to break this down today. I just hit something over here. Hit that by accident. So a new day, a new beginning. A new day, a new beginning. Y'all know I told you. Move the cigar lounge. Now I have more time, more control over my life right now. So wonderful time to be alive, wonderful time to get this podcast moving forward. We're going to talk about today the reason that hell. We're going to talk about what is hell truly about. I posted a young man's video yesterday. I hope some of you guys saw it. I like finding other creators and introducing them to my audience. So those people who are confused and thinking that I don't have anything to say, so I'm posting other people's stuff, that's really just because you got to find something negative. But no, it's all about sharing. It's all about making sure that other creators who are putting out good content get that opportunity, to, if I can help, if I can share theirs, it's all about sharing. Sharing is caring. Isn't that what they say? Sharing is caring. But we are starting a new chapter in the life of Renz, where I finally get the opportunity to do what I truly wanted to do, which is just life coaching, business coaching, and podcasting. Still own the cigar company. We still sell cigars. We just changed it, pivoted a bit. Yo, so Michael, what? This early? You made it this early? Lately, Michael been catching us around 11 o'clock. But cool. Glad to be here. Gonna be here for a while today, people. Papa Soul, how you doing? Papa Soul. Okay, yeah, that came up already. All right. So if you follow my cigar enthusiasts, I want you guys to go to my Smoking Phoenix cigar page on Facebook. Join that page. I'm going to do a lot more about cigars over on that page. For my business people, go to In and Out to Legacy Business. We're going to do a lot more on that page as well. Michael, I now have time so that we can do our podcast together for the business one. And I look forward to just growing this platform and helping other people grow their platform. Now, for this particular platform, it's all about helping people it's all about people who have walked away from religions. This is what it's about. It's all about people that walked away from religion. So we're going to start out by giving the truth. Today is the truth about hell. It's the truth about hell. So we been on here for a good 5 minutes. And I don't know who you are, Mr. 42 Stories. If you haven't said anything, I'm going to tell you right now on TikTok, if you haven't said anything about who you are, I will not be allowing you on because people like doing these challenge things. And it's quite irritating. When people do that, quite irritating. So if you don't ask to come on, I won't know who you are. I'm not going to. And if I don't, that versus stuff is irritating. So moving right along. What's the truth about hell? What is the actual truth? Where did hell start? Where did it come from? Who created hell? What is the mentality of hell? You barbecue? No, I'm not barbecuing today. I'll be in here for the next 3.5 hours. Too damn hot to go out there and barbecue. Funny thing, I'm sorry, this is different. He said about barbecuing. My oldest daughter calls me because she's like, Dad, the meat's on fire. What are we supposed to do? I forget that when you're 20 something and you're out there trying to queue, the first time you forget what to do. Because you were just eating. You weren't paying attention to what whoever was queuing was doing. But anyway, that was yesterday. So Grand Rising, Terrence. These people love to listen to you, Coach. They have real doubts. Yes, they do. So today And make sure, hey, go out and share the video. Please share. You know, we got to share this content. Got to get more people on here. We got to make sure we get more comments. So let me know what you got, what you guys are thinking, what you're saying. Let me light up. But we about to burn in hell, y'all. We about to burn in hell. Now, did you know that if we were to say, well, what is the origin of hell? Did hell start in Christianity? Was hell something that has always been something? And as far as the Hebrew people are concerned, hell has not always existed, and certainly not in the way that Christians see it. We're going to start a little bit in the middle, then jump back, and then come back. We're going to go back and forth a lot. So originally, because most of the people on this channel are either walking away from Christianity or you used to be a Christian. Now, well, or you're still a Christian. Or you're still a Christian. Think about it, is that when you go back and you read the Bible, one of the things that you will not see is a placement that Adam went to. Adam, Eve, Seth, Abel. It said that the blood of Abel screamed from the ground. Originally, there was not a teaching of hell. And even to this day, the Jewish people still do not teach of a hell. There is no hell in Jewish teachings. In Hebrew teachings, there's no hell. But people did begin to ask questions. Well, what happened to Adam? Well, what happened to Eve? What happened? It was assumed that Adam would go up to heaven, since the only thing he did was eat from the tree. And of course, an animal was slaughtered for the sacrifice of his one sin. And therefore, Adam, Eve, they went to heaven. Enoch went to heaven without dying. So they had a concept of heaven, but there was no concept of hell. In the Hebrew culture, hell was just oblivion. That's it. You died, you're gone. Oblivion. There's nothing else to it. There was no going to a place of eternal torture. And one of the reasons why people in those days thought that, because that would not make sense, as it shouldn't make sense today, of this good God. How can you claim to be a good God but have a perpetual sin, perpetual hell, perpetual torment? Michael said hell is a state of mind. You're getting ahead of me now. We're going to get to that point in about 2 hours. But got to do the teaching first. So throughout as most of us who grew up Christian, throughout our growing up as Christian, there was no place called hell. There was a place called hell. But if you were growing up in 500 BCE, 600 BCE, 800 BCE, there was no place called hell if you were a Hebrew. But other cultures did have a place of torment. The Greeks had Hades, as a place of torment. In Zoroastrianism, you go to their hell with Agramenia. You go to with Agramenia. These are places where demons dwell. In the Buddhist tradition, there are places where demons dwell. In most of these situations, there were places where demons dwell, and they can take people there. Even in your Sumerian, your Babylonians, there were places that they can take you there. But so people didn't have that when they started creating Judaism and Christianity, and then later on Christianity. But as the Roman Church took over Rome, as the Christian Church took over Rome, this hell place had to be created. This hell place had to there had to be a place where if you didn't act right, you were tormented. It had to be so scary. Because see, in the Hermetic teaching, if your heart was heavier than a feather, and then after Horus advocates for you and takes on your sins, and then but Anubis and the 12, just say that you still should not be able to cross into the field of reeds, then your heart was devoured by Sobek, and you merely ceased to exist. There was no hell. The Hermetic did not teach of a hell. There was no hell. So that wouldn't do for the Roman church. But for the Roman church, there had to be a place of torment. Because when you go, it's a funny thing. I want you, if you guys ever get to go to Israel, when you go to Jerusalem, you're going to go into the little valley. And then the little joke is that you go in there, you come back, and you can say you went to hell and back. Because it literally is, it's a place where they used to throw garbage. It's a place where the worst people and criminals used to be, and the worst people used to be. And it was violent. It was a Mad Max movie down in that area. So that was hell. This Garden of Gethsemane was hell. Right. So if you ever get to go, you can go there. You know, the Norse mythology, they had their hell. They had Hela. Y'all seen Ragnarok, right? Where your soul went and it was captive by her. So since the Romans took over, they had multiple sources of heaven and hell that they could choose from. And what they chose was a combination of different ones. They chose some of the Norse mythology. They chose some of the Greek mythology. They chose some of the Zoroastrian mythology. They chose those things that develop into our modern day concepts of hell. And then, of course, during and after the Dark Ages with Dante's Inferno, we get even more development of this hell place. This devil with a pitchfork and a tongue, snake tongue, and a tail with a little point on it. All these things are created by people who made up things to decide what hell was going to be. If you go and it amazes me when Christians say this, because according to their story, the devil is a beautiful angel, the most beautiful. And hell is simply a lake of fire. It's just a lake of fire. But instead, it got rooms and columns, and they got space and development. If you were to ask a Christian, what does hell look like? Because they've been influenced by pop culture, and even Dante's Inferno, when written, was pop culture. People have often tried to describe it, but it's kind of like Baba Yaga. I want to tell you a story. I want to scare the hell out of the children to make them think that there's an evil place that they would go to if they don't mind, if they don't act right, if they don't go to bed when they're supposed to go to bed, if they're not good to their parents, you're going to go to this place. Hell is real. Don't be deceived by your knowledge. Prove that hell is real, Richard. No, that's Richardson. Prove that hell is real. Prove it. Look, if a person can prove that hell is real, prove it. Thank you, James. Although I don't want to change this and put a whiteboard right here so I can write on it. Prove that hell is real. No one has ever truly been to hell and back. People have said, oh, I had a dream, I had a near-death experience. No, in order for you to go to hell, you need to die. The judgment has to happen, and then your ass then come back with something. But if the judgment happened, you didn't come back with nothing anyway, because then that would invalidate your story. Every time some Christian says I had a near-death experience, I went to heaven, I went to hell, I'm like, doesn't that violate your book of Revelation? But I would love to see proof. You see, when I ask for proof, then they become silent. They don't have anything to say. And you're absolutely right, Debbie. It's mental abuse to a child. The gentleman whose video I posted yesterday had probably one of the best examples of that I've ever heard. He said, if you didn't see the video, he said something to the effect, and I know because I'm not quoting him exactly. Christians will say that it's okay for their God to have did all the genocide, the murdering, the slavery, the treatment of women, the murdering of children. All of that is fine. All these negative things to send you to hell, those things are perfectly fine. For this God to do all of that, and as I'm going to talk about in another video, because somebody said, have you ever heard of the phrase, do as I say, not as I do? This God has that mentality. Do as I say, but not as I do. But it's okay for this God. You say that it's okay for this God to do this because he's more powerful. I can't tell you how many times I get comments from people who say, how can you judge God? He's more powerful than you. Are you not more powerful than your children? But should your children cry out and tell on you if you're abusing them? Should they not want to leave you if you're abusing them? If you are you telling me that since the man is stronger than the woman in general, the woman should not cry out or have anything negative to say or leave or stop living in the same household, don't want to be around this man because he's stronger. So he should be able to get away and do all the abusive things that he's doing, right? The slave in America should not have ever, not slave in America, the slaves in Haiti should not have ever revolted against their masters because perceivably they were stronger. The slaves in America who committed revolts should have never done that because they were stronger, right? Is that how it's supposed to go? Because that's the mentality that Christians have about this God. Is that he's stronger, he's the creator, so who are you to judge his genocide? Who are you to judge his sexual abuse? Who are you to judge the babies that he murdered? Who are you to judge the immorality of sacrificing all these animals, of treating women as property? Who are you to judge? You are the creation. You have no ability, no right to judge the creator. So my children should never judge anything that I say, should never judge anything that I do. They should just be obedient because I'm their father. Oh, you can't compare your earthly rationale to God's rationale. It's still restating the same thing. Because God is supposed to be bigger, I can't question it. I'll tell you right now, let some deity ever come here and claim to be the God of this Bible, oh, I got a lot of questions. And I might join up and start the second revolt. The whites have really dealt with us Africans. They just want to end our traditions and believe into something else. I'm wondering how a slave master would give his slave the true path to salvation. A slave master would never give his slave the true path to salvation. It's kind of like, would Warren Buffett ever really give the American people a true methodology to invest? No. Bill Gates would never do that. A true when you see people, most people out here who are telling you the pathway of something or they are great at something, they do not share it. Most people don't share it. So do you think the master will teach the slave how to become the master? No. So they gave our ancestors this book. And in this book, watch how I take it right back to our subject matter. In this book, they said, look, all you got to do is be good to your master, whether good or bad. And heaven is promised for you. But if you're not good, you go into hell. And let me tell you about hell. And those people were literally living in hell on earth. But they projected an image in their mind that was worse than the hell to which they were living in. This is the power of hell. You see, hell is really not about a place that you go after you live here. Hell was really about power. You see, when Christianity was first getting its little roll on after the Council of Nicaea in 325, by the time we get to 382, when the Bible was finally canonized, there was a book in there called Revelations. It was a struggle with Revelations. Oh, I need to change something. They had a struggle with Revelation. Many people, many of the so-called early church fathers thought that Revelations was too rough, too gory. It was too vivid. It might scare people away from Christianity. This is what this. So Revelations was all, even though the canon, it was placed in the canon, was always debatable. I think it wasn't until after the Council of the Council of Laodicea, and I think that's was like 1000 something, that the book of Revelation was on the chopping blocks. It had possibilities of not remaining in the book. Especially the Laodiceans didn't like it because they didn't like the way the Church of Laodicea was portrayed in that book. But what the Catholic Church realized, what became the Catholic Church, what they realized is that here we have a situation where we can use fear to keep people in line. We can use fear to cause them to always remain under our heel. And it works. It worked. No matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody thinks, if their religion teaches that there is a hell, people will stick to the guns, even though the religion may be immoral, the religion may have been corrupt. They will figure out a way to rearrange the knowledge to which it talks about in order to make it fit so that they can stay in this religion and not go to hell. No matter what scientific discoveries are figured out, no matter what archaeological evidence is ever brought forward, hell is powerful enough to keep me stuck in this religion so that I never walk away from it. This is the truth about hell. It's not about the place. It's not about who made it up. It's about the power that it has, fear. It has basically placed the world in a vice grip of Stockholm syndrome. Muslim hell. One person described Muslim hell to me, and I don't know how 100% accurate it is. I've had it validated by other Muslims on here. Say that every day you go, they peel your skin off, you burn all day, then you go and rest, and your skin grows back overnight, and then you start the process over again. It's kind of worse than a continuous burn. You know, continuous burn is a continuous burn. You know what you get. But to let it grow back and then you got to start over, grow back and start over, that's mental torture right there. That's mentally torturing. So you got 2.6 billion Christians, about 2.5 billion Muslims. You know, shit. That's 5 billion people, 5.1 billion people out of 8 billion who are walking around in fear of hell. And I'm pretty sure that number is higher when you look at some of the other religions, the smaller religions that have some kind of hell factor. Oh, thank you for the thank you for the rose, Julie. Thank you for the rose. Oh yeah, I got a thing with Angelina. If she gets 1,000 people on her TikTok page, she has to do an NPC live, and then I have to do the first one with her. So don't go and like her page at Angelina Sheffield over on TikTok. Don't do it. But anyway, more than half of this planet believes that if they are not obedient to their religion, that they will go to a hell, even though their religion is filled with immoralities. Exactly, Debbie. That's like ouch. Even if with all this being filled with all the immoralities that it has, um, the illogical nonsense, it's amazing. But what we have to realize, as people who have grown out of this spirituality, out of this, is that hell is you. You are hell. You create hell. Hell is in your brain. Hell is something that you created for yourself. Hell is not a place. It's not a place that you go to after you leave here. It's not a place that when your body leaves this consciousness that you go and you're going to be tormented for the rest of your life. That's not it. That's not it. Hell is in your mind. You create it. You create the hell, right? And if your body, if you're, and this is the thing. This is why uh, this is going to be a big directional pathway in my teachings from here on out, is to help people to understand and get them to a mental strength where they realize that whatever happens after they leave this reality, the reality that they go to, that their consciousness go to, is the one that they have formulated here, the one that is still carried in their consciousness when they leave here. Right? I really like your take on the similarities between Hinduism and Greek mythology. Oh, I have to get into it. I have to pull up all my stuff for that one. I haven't looked at that in a long time. But I mean, both of them, I have to get. That's a whole nother subject, man. I get to that a little bit later. But I want you to think about that. Think about when you dream. As a Marine, the PTSD. Where does the PTSD come from? It comes from, for the most part, life experiences that were so traumatic um, that it altered my perception of things, right? In that alteration, one of the spaces that they look for is when you dream, right? So when you're dreaming, you are manifesting realities, whether real or not real, but they are as real as hell as if you've never. I'm pretty sure most people have had a nightmare, right? But you may not remember the nightmare. But I'm sure you had an incredibly vivid dream. So one of the PTS dreams that I have is 100% based on the helicopter crash in the Atlantic, in the shark-infested waters in the Atlantic, along the what used to be the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade route. The bodies that were pulled out, you know, the everything was based on that helicopter crash that I was involved with. The traumatic experience of that registers in my dreams, and they're as real. They're not exactly the same though. They're not exactly the same. You know, they're not in the same place. Um, I remember one so vividly that it was inside this house and it was going down the hallway and the other people of the crew were these mass blobs of lurching beings coming towards me, asking me why didn't I help them? Why didn't I help them? You know? So, and I'm terrified and I start, wanting to fight them. I didn't know if I'm gonna fight, flight or fight. It was one of the two, and I kind of halfway did both. So it was like, it comes from that event. My mind manifested a whole world by itself. So why is that not is it not reasonable that when you leave this existence, your mind will manifest an entire world to which you would dwell in, but you won't wake up? It's not a dream. Your body's gone. You're not living as you. So unless you reincarnate, come back and try it again. If you manifest anything, you're manifesting your own hell. You're going to manifest your own hell. So just as I have helped myself, like, the military wanted to put me on all these drugs, the VA, and it was fine, but I was sluggish as hell. I was kind of like, oh. So I told her I will mentally work my way out of this process, or at least to where I can control it. Because it's never gonna be gone, but I'll work my way to where I can control it enough to be a somewhat, be functional. Black Lands. I was having a conversation with my coworker who is also a minister, and he's been trying like hell to convince me to come before I burn in the embers of hell. I smile and grin. But the other day, I don't know, it just stops right there. The other day, I don't know why they won't scroll up. But yeah, I get people they always, hey, you got more days behind you than you got in front of you. A bullshit. Because one, I will live way past 100 and I'm only 51. So first of all, a bullshit on that. But like Debbie just said, heaven and hell is within us. It's right here. It's right here. I had a moment of hell yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, yes. No, not yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday. We was moving some stuff out the cigar lounge, the final little things, and I was not dressed properly, and I was already tired, and it was hot, and I was like, we had to make a second trip, and I was sitting there like, I don't want to go. It was hell. But as simple as that is, that's what it really is. It's all mental creations in your own mind. You decide what heaven and hell is. No Christian, no Muslim, no Greek, no Hermetic, no one has ever went to an underworld or afterlife and brought back any proof. At the end of the day, when it boils down to it, any and all forms of afterlife are speculations. There is no guarantee. Okay, this is why, like, if I try to start a religion, it wouldn't work, because you got three more than likely options. You come back here and start over. You come back in some form or fashion as some fully conscious being on some planet somewhere, because it's not guaranteed you're coming back here to Earth. You're gonna go and create your own heaven, or you're gonna go and create your own hell. One of the two. You exist and you create your own heaven and hell. So he brings up, so this person you talked to, Black Lance, was he a Hebrew Israelite? Because since he brings up the 400 years is almost over, and it brought up the Arab slave trade, and his reply was that it don't count. Actually, the 400 years is over. The 400 years supposed to have ended in 2019 or something like that. So it's supposed to be over, because it was 1619. So it's supposed to be over. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Hey, I love Bob Marley. You're absolutely right. But those are your only three options. Those are only three. In the realm of, well, and there's a fourth. Sorry. There's a fourth. Absolutely nothing. You just cease to exist. Your consciousness just, you ever see the movie Powder, where when he, at the end, he's running, struck by all the light, and it's just exploded, but his consciousness went out and became a part of everybody. So you got that. Consciousness burst out, becomes a part of everybody. Your body dies, it goes into the ground, becomes a part of the earth, and that's it. Nothing else. There is no afterlife. Your consciousness, maybe bits and pieces of your consciousness come together and form a new consciousness and a new baby, but it explodes out and it's just scattered. That's the other possibility. So you go into nothingness, which is your consciousness just phew, and you don't even know it of yourself anymore. You reincarnate into some other humanoid or some other complex conscious being. You create your own universe, just as we live in our own universe right now, and it can either be heaven or it can be hell. Right? That's it. Those are the options, or plausible options. And people are choosing. You can choose any one. Most people say they want to go to a heaven. Right? Most people say they want to go to heaven. Most people are in fear of a hell. But these are both creations of their own. If those are the two options, you're manifesting in yourself. You're not being manifested by some deity. It's self-manifestations of these from your consciousness. The idea that is created and ruled over and determined of your going there based on your belief of a religion that is only here on earth, that has constantly and consistently changed, that did not exist during the entire time frame of man. Why wasn't the punishment for Adam to go to hell? Where was the continued sacrifices for Adam? After Adam and Eve have said, shit, you don't hear nothing else about it. All you hear is that he died. It didn't say he died and he went and joined. They join the Father. They assume that he went to heaven. It's an assumption. That's it. Purely an assumption. And the New Testament writers, they make that assumption. They made the assumption that Moses would be in heaven. You know, that's why, and Elijah. But one of the Elijah was supposedly just went up to heaven and didn't die or something like that. I know Enoch was one of them. But they make the assumption that in the last days, the two prophets who will come from heaven will be Moses and Elijah, and they'll be by the wailing wall preaching for like a certain time frame. All right, manifested realities create existential realities. It certainly does. You create your own reality, just like you do now. Do y'all realize that your reality that you're living right now is self-created for the most part? For the most part. There have been other wheels that have influenced who you are and where you are and how you live. But for the most part, if you're over 30, you've been creating your own reality. The further you are from 30, the more you have created this reality that you currently exist in. You said, no, he's Christian, but you've been hitting him with so many jewels. He grasps for anything to keep his religion relevant. Wow. A Christian trying to grasp to the Hebrew Israelite to keep relevant. That doesn't even mix. But you are manifesting your own reality. You create it. You decide it. Think about it. You may feel stuck in your job, but if you look at your life, for the most part, it's decisions that you made that led you into the position of your job that you're in. It's the decisions you made that led you into the size of the family that you have. It's decisions you made that led you to the economics that you have. It's all the decisions that you make. And the thing about it is that your decisions reverberate into the future. You can make a decision today and not think of how much impact it's going to have in the future, but you never know. 19 years ago, when I first started doing videos, I had no ideal or intentions of being of this level of it. And I'm like low level. It's not even like I got hundreds of thousands or followers or anything like that, because I don't. But even for it to be where it is, y'all don't understand. When I had 32 subscribers on YouTube back in the day, I was excited. I thought I was doing something. I was like, "Shit, I'm doing something." If you would have told me that 10 years ago, I'd be semi-retired, being able to do podcasts as I choose, I'd have said, "Man, that'd be great." But I didn't know the decisions that I was making would eventually lead me to this point. There was no way of knowing. No way of knowing that. But they did. They did. If you had told me, you could not have told me that when I decided to go to the Marine Corps, that I would wind up doing the job that I wound up doing. That I got to spend a number of years being a low-level James Bond. You could not have told me that. I would have thought that, yeah, I'm gonna go and serve, I was gonna work in supply, be in the back, making sure everybody got what they need to go out there. But if you had told me, I would not have. And I understand what you're saying, Michael. Yep. I was a, fitness coach, fitness and life coach. Even that one, you couldn't have told me back in the day that I wound up doing that. Certainly couldn't have told me I wound up doing IT work. There was a lady when I was getting out of Marine Corps in the transition assistance program. She said, before you retire, you will have 6 careers on average. I thought that lady was crazy. So, I'm gonna get one job and that's it. And then I'm gonna start a company and that's gonna be it. Did hell start during the European Dark Ages? It started before that. It started soon after Theodosius made the Roman Empire into Christianity. It wasn't as big yet. That's when it started growing, though, because they were trying to, for the next 700 years, there was debate over the Book of Revelations. So it was a growing thing. It's this thing that matured. And then you had so many though who were following the Greeks, and the Greek religion, they had Hades, and you had the Britons and some of the Norse, and they had their own hell. So it was something that slowly was incorporated into Christianity. But MJ said hell started when one man decided to step on another man for personal gain. Now, this concept was already around because in the Babylonians, when you dealt with, when they started saying that, hey, I mean, not the Babylonians, the Zoroastrians, but you had it with the Babylonians too, but with the Zoroastrians, it was, if you live a life and do the works that you're supposed to do, good thoughts equals good works. Is like the main tenet in Zoroastrianism. If you live that life, then you get to go and live with a real monster. If you don't, you got to go to Agramenian and live with the devil, basically, their version of the devil. So you had this understanding from different religions, but like the Kemetic and the ancient Hebrew, it was you just cease to exist. They didn't know thermodynamics back then. You cease to exist. But the Catholic Church, what became the Catholic Church, really keyed in on the fear component. And that has served them well. The Catholic Church recently back in March, apologized for the hand that they played in giving orders Y'all remember when I did a video a couple months back? I didn't even know the Catholic Church had apologized, but I did a video a few months back where I was talking about how Pope Clement IV and Nicholas V put out decrees saying, go and make slaves, but go make slaves and Christianize the African people. And then that edict went on into the people of India and so on and so forth, into the Americas. That the Catholic Church put out that edict for them to go do it. Now they apologized in March for what they did. But are they giving back all the treasures that they stole back to those countries? Are they going to give the lands back? Who gives a shit about your apology? That's 400 plus years later. Who cares about your apology? Your apology doesn't mean anything. But they can apologize and say that they were wrong. Their stance was based on the Bible. Go out and preach to all the world. Go and convert the entire world. This is based on the Bible. But yet, where is the repentance? You see, just an apology don't mean shit. Repentance is to fix what your actions caused. Oh, trust and believe. I would do a different video based on that. That's what repentance is. They ain't gonna do that. They're not gonna do a goddamn thing. Say it just came with their bonus style post. I don't necessarily know what that means. Sounds funny. But so how do we, the law, I'm big about the hermetics. If anything, so let me go ahead and tell you guys. Not this Tuesday, not today, but starting next week, we're going to do Zoom classes for opening your chakras and Zoom classes for understanding the hermetics. The class is going to be $29.97 each, 7 hermetic classes, 7. Well, it's going to be more than 7 hermetic classes. 7 hermetic classes, 7 chakra classes. You can take them as you go. Take them as you go. Each week I'll tell you what the classes are going to be about prior to the class. But they're $29.97 to join the Zoom class. The reason why I know that I will manifest my own universe is because I understand how the hermetics and the chakras work together hand in hand. Together hand in hand. You see, if you don't understand the law of mentalism, yet you try to, or let's say you only understand the law of mentalism. Well, the law of mentalism is you want to try to manifest something of your own. You know who you are. You know that you are part of the all, but you're not the all. You understand that divine paradox. You know that all things starts with your mentals, but yet you are still hindered by the fear or the guilt or shame or lack of love in your life, or that you didn't experience as a child. You are still hindered by different things that you have to understand your chakras. It is the merging of those two that gives you the control over your mind to manifest heaven or hell now. And if you do have that ability to manifest thereafter, you don't have time thereafter to figure it out. You're going to manifest one or the other. And a great example that I like to give you at this point is, have any of you guys watched this show, the series Lucifer? I'm doing this hell thing. That's why I wore my red today. If you have, then you're going to know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then there's an aspect within the show. I think they began talking about it during the second season. There's only like 3 or 4 seasons, but during the second season, where they discuss the fact that hell, everybody sends themselves to hell. Nobody actually is judged to hell, nor judged to heaven. That you send yourself to hell or send yourself to heaven. But when you're in hell, it is not eternal. Oh, you haven't? I like the show. So when you're in hell, it's not eternal. That if you're able to overcome your guilt, they might mainly just talk about guilt, but you can tell when you're watching the show and you're really digging into it, it's really about guilt, fear, and shame, and not believing you deserve to be loved. So if you understand, it's really talking about those 4 things. If a person, but that if a person who's in hell can forgive themselves, love themselves, right? Realize that they just made a mistake and that it doesn't define them, they can walk out of hell. They have a statement in there where he says that most people don't realize that the doors of hell are never locked. They just refuse to walk out. When the Cain character is introduced, and Cain is like, heaven is all about guilt, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, I've already gotten over that, so I know I'm going to heaven. Because Lucifer's asked Cain, why do you want to die? You're not afraid of going to hell. And then he explains that it's all about guilt, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, I've already forgiven myself for, what I did to Abel, so I'm not carrying that guilt. So Cain was like, I'm good, because he's understanding I'm going to heaven. And throughout the show, only one guy that Lucifer goes down into hell. He goes into hell for a different reason. He's trying to solve a crime. It's a crime drama. He goes in there for one reason. He winds up talking to this guy that he had. This guy was a recurring character. He dealt with him when he was a criminal and he was alive on earth. Then the guy goes to hell. Then Lucifer goes down, deal with him when he's in hell. But he's the only guy that figures it out after Lucifer talks to him about it and tells him what it really is. And even after being told that he can get out by the person who's supposed to be ruling this place, he still lingers. And then you find out towards the end that he finally went into the house. He finally forgave himself, found enough love for himself, and then he left hell. And he was in the last season, he's in heaven. One person. Even though it's a television show, it's really demonstrating a lot. It's demonstrating that most of the time we are creating our heaven and hell on earth because we are lacking, we have issues with those things, right? We have issues with self-love, we have issues with guilt, we have issues with shame, we have issues with fear. And that's what's keeping us formulating our own hell. As much as we say shit, as much as we think that we're trying to not live in that condition, for the most part, we keep repetitively putting ourselves in there. I mean, think about, how does a person keep repetitively putting themselves in bad financial situations, right? I know for myself, I had to realize, you know what? I am a risk taker. I take risks, right? And when I take risks, and this is talking about finances, there's a high. It could either be a big high or it could be a big low. For as much as you're willing to risk is as much as you're willing to lose. So I'm willing to risk everything because I want this high. But I know that if I lose, I will be this low. So your boy has been homeless a few times because I'm willing to throw it all. And no matter how many times I've been homeless, but then over these last few years, I said, you know what? Even though I'm willing to risk, I'm still willing to risk it all. Let me do a few things that can be in place to neutralize the swing, right? We talked about, when we did the Kabbalion, the law of neutralization. Don't You can do things to keep it from swinging all the way back. You can do things to keep your swinging all the way back into your hell on earth, right? And if you can do it there, then you should be able to do it in whatever happens when you leave here. Right, exactly. Heaven, hell is not even right. It's the higher and lower self. So, but stopgaps, neutralization. When you leave here, when you cease to exist on this planet, or in this existence, whether it's dimensional planes, when you cease to do that, uh, wouldn't you like to have a stopgap? Wouldn't you like to have something in place that mentally, because leaving this existence is going to be all mental. It's all mental. No matter how we look at it, it's mental. It's certainly not physical. So when we leave, you need to have a mental thing that keeps you from falling too far off the deep end. Kind of like in the show, the guy with the Lucifer character coming in and telling him what he needed to do to stop the hell loop that he was in. In their version, the hell loop, whatever you're the most ashamed about, whatever the most traumatic thing that happened, you keep reliving it, reliving it, reliving it, reliving it, reliving it. So you got to stop the hell loop. Let me give you an example of how that makes sense. Right now, if I were to go to sleep and I'm starting to have a nightmare, I've trained my brain how to trigger me to wake up or trigger me to recognize that it's only a dream. Right? Like when I'm dreaming and I don't like the dream, there's one thing about lucid dreaming, and then I can rewind the dream, make the dream what I want it to be. But there are other triggers that I've trained my brain so that while I'm asleep, I realize it's a dream. This is my creation. And then I can change the entire thing. Every aspect of the dream is now become under my control. If I can do that in my dream, I should be able to do that when I consciously leave this body. Hell is eternal life as heaven is eternal life. Conditions are different. That's why it's a scary tactic, not real. Yeah. And eternity makes it the scary. That's what gives it its scariness. That it's eternal. If it was temporary, like some of the, I think Jehovah Witness said that the first hell is your first entry is your first hell is temporary for like 1,000 years, and then you'll get us another judgment. Grand Rising, we serve. You are probably, this is not what this channel is about. So hold on. We don't do that. I don't know you. I hope that your situation isn't what you put on there, but hell is here on earth, doomed to repeat the same mistakes until you really learn from them and learn to stop making them and stop living in the guilt from the past mistakes. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Maggie. Yoshi, I like Yoshi. Yoshi Yimi Mingus. Is it Mingus? Yeah. Yoshi. You know what would be a good one? A baby is born crying, always born crying. Someone did say one time, we were just talking, and they said, "What if Earth is hell?" I mean, according to this Bible, the devil and all these little folks was the rebellious angels were all cast to Earth as a prison. What if Earth is hell? What if Earth is, what if we are all the, I've actually said this one, what if we are all the fallen angels from the first rebellion, and this is our hell to see if we can elevate our consciousness to return back to heaven, to return back to the kingdom? What if that's the case? You can make a case for that, that this is what it is. Yeah, fuck that creation in the garden and all that kind of nonsense. Mm-mm. We are all the fallen angels that are come here to try to figure it out, to get back. This is our hell until we raise our consciousness. That sounds more plausible than the bullshit the Bible talks about. That sounds more reasonable than um, all you got to do is believe in Jesus no matter what you've done, then you get to go to heaven. Oh, I believe reincarnation. I do think reincarnation is real, because some people just don't get it. And if there is a creator, that creator would not say, okay, you get one shot and then eternity of hell. But if you think about this God of this Bible, he is a one-shot God. He made his first children, the heavenly hosts. They rebelled, boom. Eternity, hell. Yeah, I'm gonna let you play around with, but then it's kind of weird. It's like I got an evil big brother. You had an evil child, he's older. Then you make some more children and you let the big brother torment the other little children to see if they're gonna love you. But those kids never got to know you like the first ones got to know you. And if the first one rebelled and they knew, they know you, they proof you right there, and they rebelled, why would the ones who never met you wouldn't rebel? Why would the ones who don't know you wouldn't say, hell no, I don't know you. This shit is just made up by man. There's so many contradictions. But to make that even worse, I'm gonna let your older brothers, the first children, beat the shit out of you. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But it's a one shot. Oh, and then while you're on here, this planet, if you don't believe in me, you're going to hell. You got one shot. You're 20 years old. You never heard of me. Never heard of this deity. You was living in Saudi Arabia. You grew up. I mean, not Saudi Arabia. You were living in Iraq. You grew up Muslim. Muslim family. Muslim for generations. You're thrown into a desert storm, and you die. 20 years old. You never heard of Jesus, really. You grew up in a family believing in Allah, and you did. How is that a good God? They had one shot, but just because of where they were born, the family they was born into, they lose. You're 20 years old, born into a Buddhist family, living in Tibet, and y'all are a mountain family. You slip on a rock, fall down the mountain, crack your head open, you dead. You never even heard of Jesus. I'm talking about you one of them families that's living up there and y'all don't even do technology too tough. And you never even heard of Jesus. This is a one-shot God that really doesn't give a whole bunch of people an opportunity. So if you want me to believe in that there is this deity that is controlling everything, one, it got to be multifaceted. Everybody got a shot based on all the different religions that you're learning from. But within those religions is the real truth, and then it's a whole bunch of bullshit that man put in there to try to control y'all. Then, after that, if you don't figure it out in this life, you come back for around 15,271. Don't figure that one out. 15,272. 15,273 until you figure it out. How many times you wonder how many times you've been here? If I was here before, I'm sure I was tortured. I don't think what the Buddha said that when he, Sir Dr. Gupta, when he came into enlightenment and he touched the ground, he saw 10,000 lives that he had lived. I wouldn't want to know all the lives that I've lived. It's too many. Too many loves lost, too many loves gained, too much pain, too much joy that's lost. Nope. I'm good with the eraser. But the true embeddedness of my consciousness knows that there's something more, something different. I grow and I grow and I grow. Like, you would think, you know how you see family members and they are very similar? I am very different from the majority of my family. I've told you guys many times I sat there and read the encyclopedia as a child. No. And I would read it over and over again. You know that green and white one? Over and over. Because I've always had this thirst for knowledge and I'm very curious and always questioning people. I question everything. I'm gonna question it. Even look, I can go in even when I'm in my dreams, I question what's going on in my dreams. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even say if you wanted to take that class, go to coachrenz.com. If you want to take any classes that I'm doing, coachrenz.com. Whether it's one-on-one training, coaching, or if you want to take the chakra and hermetic classes, the hermetic class will be loaded up after we finish this. The chakra class is already loaded up. But no matter what, I've always been that person. Peace and prosperity. And you see, you can't send me in. See, like if you sent me to Christian hell, and the way they describe it, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem because then I will understand that I will create me will create a revolt in hell. This is bullshit. We're not doing this. I don't know who the hell y'all think y'all are. We're not doing this. I'm not giving into this fear. We can get up out this joint. But if I went to heaven, this is some bullshit. Actually, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna go back to the hell one in a minute. I'm gonna change that one. In heaven, I'd be like, this is some bullshit. How you gonna sit up here and all y'all are fine with the fact that all these unknown quadrillion people are down there burning in hell because this one shot God was crazy with all the damn sacrifices and genocide and did this bullshit, fool? This is gonna be. That's where there's going to be a second revolt in heaven. You Christians don't want me showing up. It's gonna be a revolt next time, bitch. Because there is no way I would sit up there and be like, dude, seriously. We got our trees that bloom in season 12 times a year that we still got to eat from because we obviously still don't have immortality. And we got to sit up here and praise this motherfucker all day. All day, all night. We supposed to be praising you? That's what you want us here to do? That's boring as fuck. That's not heaven. That's hell. That's hell. I'm not going for that. You send me, I'm going to hell. And it's going to be a party in that motherfucker. First, I'm going to take it over. Because I'm like, dude, why are you playing his game? See, I'll be sitting there, if there is this one being that's the devil, bro. You rebelled against him, but now you playing his game. Why? You supposed to be in control of this. What's wrong with you? Why are you going to let somebody else who ain't even here tell you what to do? This is your spot. This is your spot. Let's get some Macallan 12. Let's get some cigars. Let's get some food. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's some amazing cooks down in here. Let's get the DJs. We about to turn it up to a party down in this month. Y'all might want me to go to hell because hell's gonna be hot with party. It's gonna be hot. You remember that movie in the Matrix when they was all in that cave dancing? It's gonna be hot. Body's sweating, hot. Okay, let me stop. This I've been working on my way out for a minute, working through my guilt, my fear, and my shame. What you saying is true to my ears, and how I've been living my life for quite a while. That was not meant to be exactly this. You can control all of this. We're not meant to believe all this bullshit of culture and religion. It's dark and hell is hot. Yeah, my hell gonna be hot with a party. Will we see our loved ones again? Will they even be recognizable? You see, Christianity gives you that fluffy thing of you're gonna see your loved ones and y'all are gonna be all familyed up and all these sorts of things. It's based on you being the individual that you are right now. Has no mentioning of the fact that you have been eternal. You have been eternal. You could have been here 50-11 times. Everybody's your family. So to try to put it into the concept of just that's simplifying it down to what our finite minds can imagine. And see, hell is created in our finite minds of what we can imagine. If it wasn't for Dante's Inferno, most of the things we think about hell wouldn't even exist. So even heaven exists as this finite thing, as if your life right now is the most important, biggest life you've ever led, when you could have led thousands of lives. So who would be your family? It's nice though. Everybody wants to think that. I want to think that I'm gonna see my grandmother again. Love that chick. That's what I want to think. But that's just a desire. My desire does not make reality. So you got 5 on it. Let's go. I mean, it's like people be saying, "Oh, I heard this blues song yesterday talking about how all these artists are up there in heaven, talking about Tupac and Biggie closing out the show up in heaven and Prince, and everything." Y'all do know these people have multiple different religions and stuff, but everybody want to put them in heaven. It's a good time for the reincarnation of non-believers in the future. Yeah, it is a very good time. It's a great time. I wasn't here for the full video, but Coach, I've done some reading. Apparently, the Jews don't believe in hell, but they always get reconciled to God, even if they mess up. Oh, of course, because the Jews have their sacrifices, even though they're not doing their animal sacrifice now, but through their sacrifices, but through their work, through their obedience. In Isaiah, I think, or Jeremiah, it says that I'd rather your obedience than your sacrifice. But then he flips it in Christianity. I got to have a sacrifice. And then again, it contradicts itself again, and I've got to do a shorter video on that one, where he talks about the fact that he says, I never told your forefathers to do sacrifices. Well, look at Leviticus. You were telling them to do all kinds of sacrifice. You gave clear instructions for chapter upon chapter upon chapter how to do sacrifices. It came from more than just the Romans' idea of Hades. There was already forms of hell in existence before the Romans, but the Hades version was more incorporated than any other tradition, because the Hades comes from the Greeks and the Romans. Because the Romans didn't have an antiquity, they loved the fact that the Greeks had antiquity, and they would take on the Greek antiquities. And Hades is one of their antiquities they took in there. But they also incorporated the Norse hell and some of the Zoroastrian hell. My father was a non-believer. That's why I am a believer. I believe. Oh, that's why okay. That's why you are the way you are, basically. What I'm saying. And he was cremated last year. Oh. I even getting away from telling people sorry for your loss because they're not dead. There's no such thing as death. So it's like I'm more sorry that you don't get to spend. You miss the person. Don't get me wrong. Like I miss my grandmother, but once I started realizing that she not dead, he not dead, my grandfather's not dead. They might came back here. They might be coming back, and it might be 1,000 years before they come back, or 100 years before they come back, or they might have came immediately back. I would never know, because my grandfather could be a little girl in China right now. My grandmother could be a young man, in Alaska right now. Would have no idea. Might be that person out meeting like, it's something about, I like you, and it's something about you. I don't know what it is. I feel like I've known you my whole life. What your name is? Yeah. And that could be a reincarnated family member, and you wouldn't know. That's the thing about it. You wouldn't know. We're not gonna know shit until after we leave this. That's when we're gonna know. That's when we'll know. And when we do, here's the thing about it. When we do, the ability for us to come back and tell everybody else. Some people like to believe that people like Jesus who didn't exist, but let's look at people who have a higher probability of existing. Some people say that some of these great wise people back in the day they came back here, they came back to teach us. They say that Siddhartha came back to teach us, Lao Tzu came back to teach us. I refuse to put Gandhi in that category, but the Dalai Lama is some reincarnated being that keeps coming back to teach us, right? Whether they are how they pinpoint it is always in their little countries is so fucking amazing to me. It's like, really? This Dalai Lama spirit ain't never came in Africa, ain't never came in the Americas, in South America, in Japan, in India. It's always in this same little area. Sounds like some political bullshit. When you raise up a child, it's always a child. And you raise this, and you go get that child when they're real young, so you can teach them and program them exactly how they're supposed to be. So I ain't too keen on the whole Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama is a slave. He's an indoctrinated slave, right? So, because they take him as a child, tell them that they're the Dalai Lama, and mold them into being this person. Now, cool guy, has a lot of wise things to say. Nothing about that. It's just I feel bad for the Dalai Lama every time I see that dude, because you had no childhood, you had no choice of life. You was engineered, and because they told you that, you believe it, and he believes that he's the reincarnation of this dude over and over and over and over and over again. And this reincarnation never skips a beat. He dies, goes into another body, boom. What happens when population declines? What happens when there are no more humans? Like when the earth gets too hot and there's no more humans on the planet. If we even last that long. Humans may not even last that long. We might last let's say we last another 10,000 years. And then we either can destroy ourselves or the planet becomes inhospitable. What happens then? Where all the humans go? That it? That was the whole plan? Because we think that we're going to last forever. We think human civilization is going to last forever. We're going to be here to the end of the universe. Science teaches us that species come, species go. No species has ever lasted forever. Shit, cockroaches will last longer than we do. But, and that's one of the things that I do when I try to help people. I need them to understand this finite little space of time in the universe that humans have existed. That what we are today has not existed that long. Really hasn't. When you look at time itself, like we haven't been here that long. But we claim we know all this mechanism of how things work. We know all this shit. We know all the mechanics. You know? Okay. Yeah. Hold on for a minute. Not sure. How we going? Somebody got work today. So, what the hell was I in my brain? But yeah, we don't know. We have, and understanding how finite we are and how little time we've had on this planet. But we are supposed to know everything. Why? Why do we have to be the ones who know everything? What happens when, if you look at the calculations are suggesting that based on all the stars, then stars that's the size of our star, and then the ones that have planets, well, galaxy, yeah, stars, galaxy, planets our size, habitable zones, all that sort of thing. Anywhere from 100,000 to millions of sentient beings out there in the universe. But we know. We know. Did the reason why Jesus came when he came was because he was spending time on the other planets, and he finished up on one planet, then and when he left this one, he went to another planet. That's why nobody gets Jesus in the beginning. You see what I'm saying? No, makes sense. What's up, Raquel? Grand Rising. Doesn't make sense, does it? You got billions of species. You got millions, hundreds of thousands to millions of species out there of sentient beings. And I guarantee that if some aliens came down here, they will have their own religions that they created for themselves. They're going to sweep them down. They have their own religions. The great lizard God and his lizard Jesus, you know. And it may not be anything, any Jesus Messiah thing. It'll be some great teacher, some messenger of the great lizard in the sky who, you know, teaches them the ways of life and how they live. And they came to earth to spread the good news of the great lizard God. He's on a very tight schedule. Oh, yeah, Jesus on a tight schedule. He run around like that. You're right. There is the end of time. Oh, shit. You understand? He's skipping end of time, 60,000 years, rest. Everyone scoffs, but once the third temple of Israel starts being built, you and the scoffers will start to get nervous. No, I won't get nervous at all. You gotta understand, man will do his best to try to fulfill that whole messianic thing. That temple, it is never you. Do you realize that internationally, if they try to build that temple, that means they have to destroy the Dome of the Rock. Now, you think the Muslims gonna let Israel destroy that Dome of the Rock, and it don't kick off World War III? It gonna kick off World War III if they try to destroy that. So I'll be more nervous about that. You watch this one show that this man guy was cloned over and over at 3 different age groups for thousands of years. The names was Dawn, Day, and Dusk. Man, what's the name of that show? What's the name of that show, Terrence? There's then please provide us the truth, Dalen, because every comment that I've done a video on yours, you provide no proof of your truth. I would love for you to. I don't even know why Christians come to this page. Like, we're not even here for you. You've been reading the book on Egypt and 42 rules and what the pharaohs and the people live in the what the pharaohs and the people live. The book is very insightful. Are you reading the Book of the Dead and that the 42 rules laws of my house, or are you reading somebody else's book? I like how this guy. So Dalen is on here, and he's saying that when Michael said that hell is with your mind, and it would say it's a state of mind, he's telling him that he has no evidence of these heretical, unsubstantiated claims. Yet, prove, Dalen, that hell exists beyond the one that you create for yourself. Prove it. And if you say because the Bible says so, that is not proof. Because that's big. I can tell you that I'm gonna take over hell, and hell gonna be a party. When I take over hell, we're gonna have the best drinks, nice ice cold drinks. We're gonna have the best DJs down there. Uh, Even though I don't really like DJs, for me, I'll be over in a little lounge area chilling. We're gonna have the best views, nice beaches, nice mountains. What's up, Clarence? And if I write that in the book, I can either say I was inspired by God, that I came to earth to teach people how to mentally manifest their own heaven and hell while here on earth so that they can manifest their own heaven and hell when they leave. But for those who cannot, and they go to a hell that is manifested into the formation that we have been taught, that I will teach them how to control that hell and turn it into their own version of hell, where hell can be converted to a hot party, which effectively is making hell heaven without the idea, without the idea of having to praise this deity all day and all night for eternity. Because for me, that would be hell. If you want me to go to hell, send me to what Christians say heaven is. That would be hell. What do I think of the afterlife? Because you don't want to come back to this planet. Uh, do you believe we eventually get reconnected to source? So those two kind of questions kind of go together. The show is called Foundations. It's on Apple TV. Okay. So this is what we're talking about, afterlife. As I said earlier, you have a few options for afterlife. There are only a few options. Oblivion, as that you just cease to exist, but not cease to exist as if your energy is destroyed. But I use the example of the movie Powder, when at the end of the movie Powder, his consciousness just exploded across the planet and he became a part of everyone. So not that your consciousness is destroyed, but it deconstructs and is just spread out throughout the ether. Two, you go to some tormented place that you created for yourself because that's what you believe you deserve. Three, you go to some heaven that you created for yourself because that's what you believe and you were taught it. Uh, or four, you reincarnate and come back here and figure it out, because these three don't work. Well, so this is going to a religious hell that somebody taught you, a religious heaven that somebody taught you. But four, you reincarnate because these three are completely wrong, and your job is to figure it out, how to control your consciousness at all levels so that you can manifest your own afterlife. Because all afterlife will be manifested if there is an afterlife. But if you go to something that somebody else has created for you, then that is not you manifesting it. That is you manifesting it based on the will of someone else. This is why I was saying earlier, understanding, if you take my hermetics and chakra classes, you come to understand and control your own consciousness. And the control of your consciousness on this plane of existence is vital for your afterlife. Right? Without it, you are at the will of somebody else. Because think about it, it is people who are long dead and gone who determine what hell is. I did like the fact that in what is it, the Da Vinci Code, or one of them Da Vinci Code movies, where he explained how when Dante's description of hell is where most people today believe what hell is like. Even though Dante's description is somewhat contradictory to the Bible, because there are levels of hell in Dante's Inferno. Oh yeah, that's the movie, and it's called Inferno. There are different levels of hell in his Inferno, but according to your Bible, there are no levels. It is just a lake of fire. According to the Bible, only the devil, the so-called devil, and his demons are the ones cast into a lake of fire. It doesn't actually say anything about you being cast into a lake of fire, but the doctrine was made to say that you will be cast into this lake of fire. This is what they taught, and they teach this through doctrine and not actually through what the Bible said. In the Gospels, when they were talking about tormenting, they were talking about people who were being tormented at that time frame. They weren't talking about a future sense. When John wrote those things, well, it was ascribed to John, he was writing according to what they expected now. I mean, they were living through then, what they were dealing with then. When dusk dies and dawn is claimed. So in the series, when dusk gets old and new dawn is born and the previous dawn moves up to be called day. I'm gonna watch this movie today. That sounds like my kind of movie. It's called Foundation. It's on Apple TV. I don't know if I can watch Apple TV. I'm Android up in this house. And y'all, I get to work from home. I manifested my own goddamn heaven. If I wanted to stop right now and go and sit by the lake, I can go sit by the lake. If I wanted to shoot this live on top of Stone Mountain, I can go and shoot this damn live on top of Stone Mountain. I can go wherever. If I want to go to one of my favorite little places, which is Marietta Square, I can go sit in Marietta Square and shoot this live if I chose to. If I want to go have lunch with my mother or my daughters or anybody, I can go do that. The man said, I pirate everything. Can you ask them if Foundation is Isaac Asimov? Terrence, is that Isaac Asimov? But, in order for you to manifest your own heaven, and that's truly what we actually really want. If you think about it, what you really want is to manifest your own heaven. That's what you really want. Because that heaven that they describe in the Bible is bullshit. It's ugly bullshit. Praising this God all day, that's a narcissistic ass God. You gonna praise you all day? I don't want to praise you all day. I wouldn't even want people. Can you imagine? That should be hell for this God. That would be hell for this God. That you just got to sit on this throne and listen to people praising you all day for eternity. That's boring. How you gonna give me the richness of life on earth to then go to the boring bullshit of that in heaven? Come on, people. Think about that for a second. Think about how rich the richness of life on earth and how you can manifest and live a great life on earth. And you want to go and be in heaven, and all you're doing is praising this God all day. Yes, it's the Asimov. Who said that? Orion. He said yes. The foundation is Isaac Asimov. As much as I don't like a lot of the doctrine of the Jews, I do like the concept of hell. Concept of hell. Guyana was where it's compared to the dark washing machine when you eventually get reconciled. Yep. The afterlife and in the afterlife and come back into the physical or something like that. I want to go back to the hive mind and be one with the creator because we are all God. I don't want to go back and be one with the creator. Here's the thing. The divine paradox is that the all is in you, but you are not the all. If all things were absorbed back into the all, then the you would cease to exist. You would be mixed in with everything. You wouldn't have a sense of self because now everything is part of the all and is the all. So you can't merge with the all without becoming the all. But you wouldn't be able to merge with the all anyway, because if you could merge with the all, then that is not the all. The all can never be added to nor taken away from. You see what I'm saying? So this is why hermetics are very important to understand when it comes to the metaphysical thought process. This cup, if it could be added to, not the ingredient, but if it could be added to, this cup is the all. You can't add nothing to the cup. I can pour something in it, but what I pour in the cup is still not part of the cup. It's been housed by the cup. It has a certain understanding and shapes itself in whatever the cup is, however the shape of the cup. But the coffee will never be the cup. The cup will always be itself. So you're just dwelling within it. But we dwell within the cup right now. That's the thing. We don't have to wait for that. We can dwell in the cup right now, but we will never be the cup. Because if we could, we would cease being coffee and we would be the cup. But then is the cup really the all if I can add to the cup? It's not. So that is why the only aspect of the Mormons that I think they get right is that you go and create your own universe. I don't know about that whole planet. You create your own planet and have a whole bunch of astral babies and repopulate the earth and then let them go through the whole process of, only the ones who believe in Mormonism are the only ones who get to go create their own planet again. But then you just sentence trillions of people into the same situation of slavery and hells and all that kind of stuff. Why would you have babies if you're going to send them to hell? What doesn't make sense, Terrence? But why would you have babies if you know you're going to send them to hell? That's a question. I think most of us are parents, have been parents, most of us. True. Hell is for us. I've met many people who said they don't want to have a child because they don't want to bring them into the hellishness of this earth, right? Because of their experiences and what they see. People who focus on negative things usually only see the negative in everything. They can't see that beautiful butterfly that just flew in that tree. That ain't what they see. All they see is the mosquitoes, right? So they don't want to bring beings into existence that are going to be tormented in this world. Why would you create only to create that's going to be tormented? Sentient beings that are going to, We lose our shit. If somebody was torturing a dog or a cat, we'd lose our shit. All of us would, for the most part. You know, we don't want to see an animal tortured. There's no reason for that. Even if you eat meat, you don't want to see it tortured. So why would you create if you're creating just to torture? You're an evil something. Yeah, we do. We imitate the. That's. I'm telling y'all gonna want to join these hermetic classes and these chakra classes. The whole idea we are made in the image of the creator is the fact that we can mentally create in the same way as the all creates. We are not the all, but we can mentally create. And since we mentally create, which is an example of that is when you dream every night, or when you sit here and you can go into your imagination, we can create whole worlds. That damn Harry Potter lady created an entire world through her imagination. I dream every night. Like, not one night goes by that I don't dream. And my dreams are very clear and lucid and crazy as hell sometimes. I had this dream. I was terrified. This tiger had ripped open my chest. And I felt that fucking fear when I woke up in the morning. Well, when I woke up, I could feel the fear. I remember the fear. You know, we can create. So when you die from this body, your ass can create whatever it is you desire. We talked about. I like the samsara, how the Tibetan Buddhists have samsara. You go through a process where you're either going to create or you're going to come back. Then do we seek Buman Dala? I don't know who that is. Who is? I'm thinking I'm saying Buman Dala. I was agreeing earlier with what you said, but I think mathematics is all that we will understand about the universe, because we are only developed six senses. Right? We got to develop our extra senses. Now we can only develop so much into like understanding a dream state, a higher dimensional plane. There's only so far we can go because we are what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Damn it, Terrence, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, so I'm just saying it along. But we are trapped, caged, uh, we are reduced by our six senses, right? If because we are so used to smelling things, hearing things, seeing things, touching things, um, we can't imagine sitting here and instead of me seeing the grass outside, but see the energy of the grass, seeing the frequency of the grass, seeing that energy, realizing how to increase it and make it grow right now. Not later, not slow, not based on the sun and the water and the ground and all that, but make it grow because we force more energy into it, or we speed up the growth vibration in the grass, right? Um, I do it with a candle in some of my meditations. Like I sit there and meditate and try to see, and I see the energy of the flame. It's easier to do it with fire. See the energy of the candle and make the candle burn brighter, and then tone it back down by increasing. Like I'll see the candle and I'll see the energy of oxygen, and I'll increase the amount of oxygen energy coming into the candle, and it gets a little bit bigger. Now that's just on a little ass candle, and it's took me years and years and years just to do that. But we're inhibited. That's the word I was actually looking for. We're inhibited by our six senses to not allow us to see beyond this realm of existence, to get past our six sense, all our normal senses. uh, so my classes, you go to coachrenz.com and click on the store. The current class that's going to start next Tuesday, a chakra class, going to be we're going to start from it's 7 classes. We're going to go fear. We're going to go your root chakra all the way up to your crown chakra. There's going to be the hermetic classes follow right behind that. I didn't finish them. I didn't finish the full descriptions on them, like to say that this one is fear, this one is working on your root chakra, and then so on and so forth, and put the dates on them. So I am going to finish that today when I get off here. But it's at coachrenz.com and you go to the store. Okay, so Norman, who I don't, you know what? Dr. Google is because I'm curious as to who this person is. Buandala. Man, I typed that in and I got flights. Seven islands. Okay, I may need you to explain what that is, Norman. Because what I'm seeing right now is not really telling me anything. I don't know what, so I don't know what that is. And I'm impulsively curious. So curiosity killed the cat. Satisfaction brought him back. Is it safe to say that you took my advice on teaching the Kabbalion? Sure, Floyd. Take all the credit. Of course, because of you said. I mean, yeah, I had asked. I remember asking people a while back which books, and we did. The Kabbalion was the first book of our Thursday book club that we did when we started that. Like what, 5 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. But you can go on YouTube. On YouTube, you can go to the go to my YouTube page since you're already on it. Click on the playlist, and you'll see the Kabbalion, and you'll see all the videos we did for the Kabbalion. I think it's like 12 videos on the Kabbalion. Well, on my page where it says open your chakras, there's a one-on-one open your chakras, which is a $1,000 class. Then there's a group Zoom class that we're doing for I think it's $29.97. And it's going to be now understand that's for one class. That's for one, it's 7 different classes, but that's for one class. I'm going to put all 7 up there. The dates will keep changing for each one. I'll put the dates for each one so that they rotate through. A 7-week process, 1 2-hour Zoom class, groups. Because I understand. It's hard. Some people may not be able to do the one-on-one. The one-on-one is better because I get to dig into the individual person. So when we're dealing with what blocks your root chakra, which is fear, we get to dig into your individual fear and work through that and continue, and on and on. This is going to be in a group, so you'll have to dig. I give examples. We'll talk about things. People who are open to say stuff, we'll get to dig a little bit there. But it'll be a 2-hour class, so I won't be able to focus on one person the whole time. But it's an economical way of doing it, so that a group of people can do it. Because I understand, but there's one for $29. That's the 1-day class, and this first one is going to be root chakra, which I forgot to put that on there. But you know what? I do know how to do this thing called multitasking. So it's not like I can't change it right now while I'm talking, because I can. Appreciate that, all right. Donald coming in at the 12 o'clock, 12:15 as normal. But yeah, I meant to do all these last night, but y'all, let me tell y'all what happened. We set up the cigar lounge down in the basement with all the big old TVs and everything set up, and we got so captivated. I was down in that dang basement. And we just stopped doing everything. Plus, I was tired as shit. Yesterday whooped my butt. I didn't realize how lazy my body got sitting in that damn cigar lounge all day. But now I get to start working out. So, old buddy about to go. So what I'm gonna do is, this is what I'm gonna do, Matata. I'm going to fix up the class. I'm gonna fix up the website real quick after I finish this live. Then I'm gonna make a video talking about it, and you'll be able to, and I'll post that video. And so starting today, people will be able to sign up for the classes. Because now I have an opportunity to truly coach how I want to coach. You know. So look for that later on today, later on this afternoon, this evening. But yeah, so we where did Norman go? Norman Gene Anderson. Am I going to do a workout class? Hell no, I'm not doing a workout class. Man, you know, when I go downstairs to work out in my gym, it's gonna be sad. Sad on so many levels of sad. Because I am severely out of shape compared to when I was a trainer. And I am 255 pounds. And we gotta reduce this. We gotta get this down to about 230. 225. Well, not 225. My head gonna look big at 225. About 230. Now, granted, it's only gonna take me about 3 months to drop that far. It probably ain't gonna take me 3 months. But no, I'm not doing a workout class. Plus, see the way my knees and my back is set up. Yo. Slaughter says he wished there were more female non-believers. You know what's funny about that? I guess we moved to that part where we just talking about whatever comes up. Back when I first started doing podcasts with Kevin Wesley, we had discussed creating a dating site, a dating platform for people who have deconstructed from religion. Now there is one called spiritual. It's something like spiritual dating or something like that. I ain't gonna lie. There was a time that your boy was on it. I was on it because I was so irritated with the fact that all the women that I was meeting were Christians. And I was like, damn, what are spiritual women that are in my local area? There were plenty of spiritual women who were not local, but I'm not a long distance dating guy. I'm not. That's not my thing. I need you to be local. And then most of the local ones, they were either way too young, still want babies and stuff, and I ain't doing that. And then or they were just, I wasn't interested in them for one reason or another. But it was so few. So few. Excited to finally Zoom and meet with you, Coach. We finna raise the vibration. Exactly, we sure are. Yep, it's too many Christian females, too many Christian women. Mm-hmm. You know, and I don't know how old you guys are, Terrence and Matata, but I'm 51. I'm thankful that I found Angelina. Don't tell her that I said that. But at 51, bro. Oh, you 48? Now, Angelina, she's 48. For a minute, I was thinking that I was gonna have to date some of these jokers who are in their 30s, their late 30s. But them late 30s, they come with children who are still in school. I don't want that. You had grown kids. So think about it. I needed a woman to have grown kids, be spiritual, and not religious. And you got to be careful with that when a woman says, "Oh, I'm spiritual," but they still Christian. So I'm talking about deconstructed from religion. I like my sisters. Nothing against other people, but if you like other people, that's your business. But I like my sisters. Can't be broke because I'm not trying to take on somebody's bills again. Done that too many times. And what else? Then they gotta live up to my sexual nature. If they can't do that, that's not gonna work. I study tantra, so if you ain't tantric and have an open mind towards sex, that ain't gonna work. And I'm adventurous. I like going places. I like doing things. I like trying new shit. I throw my cares to the wind. I'm not materialistic. I like stuff, but I don't like stuff that much. You see what I'm saying? It's complicated. It's complicated. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. Yeah, and then that part, they got to be beautiful to my appeal. Like I met some women that would fit a lot of those categories, and I'm a dude. I am a man. Most men are visual. If I can't look at you and think like, "God dang girl, what you doing out there? Let me see that leg one more time." You know what I'm saying? If I can't do all that, I got to be able to do that too. I can't be looking at it like, ooh. So it's hard. When that spirituality thing is in there, that makes it hard. You can find a lot of those other things, but that spiritual thing, and some of the ones that I dated that was spiritual, I'm like, okay, they deconstructed, but then they now went on they on some other level of stuff over here that I just can't deal with. So it's hard for people like us to find mates. It is. It is. But it is what it is. I break a whole bunch of eggs till you find the right one. Some people were talking trash about me before me and Angelina started dating. Like, dang, how many women you not talk to? You just in and out, in and out. It's like, look, how the hell you think you're gonna find somebody that fits with you if you ain't trying? Now I tell everybody right up front, this is who I am, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I expect. If you cannot do that, then don't talk to me. I can't help these people keep on talking about, oh yeah. And then 5-6 months later, find out that they no, gotta go. No, not the Book of the Dead. It's a book on how ancient Egypt and Samaritans enlightenment techniques to open chakras. Well, what's the name of the book? Christian Wilder. What's the name of the book? Let us share, sir. Now that I have my life back, and I've been planning on this for the last ever since I opened, right before I opened the cigar lounge, so about the last 2.5, 3 years, I have been planning on this moment. Like the cigar lounge, the popcorn shop, everything was turning so that I turned everything so that I can get to this moment. And here we are. So I have time to actually read books because I thought I'd be able to read books in the cigar lounge, but even I could be in the cigar lounge, book in face like this. And these jokers start talking to me. Like, talk amongst yourselves. Quit talking to me. Sorry, that part of my plan wasn't working. We need enlightened women. Yo, See what's gonna happen, right? We're gonna get these channels real big, and then we're gonna have um, a big old massive conference for the hookup for dating, the conscious dating uh, event seminar. We're gonna bring all the conscious people, not the ones that have messed up the country, from all around the country, the world, for the simple point of enlightenment in dating, learning the art of Tantra, and coming into higher enlightenment through the practice of sexual alchemy. And yeah, we're going to do that. Hey, Sharon is over on YouTube. Sharon says she available. Hey, that's what I'm saying. You got to throw it out there. You got to throw it out there if you want to be seen. You need more popcorn, Floyd? That popcorn, since none of my kids want the popcorn shop. None of them wanted it. So I was like, you know what? None of y'all want this popcorn shop. So I'm gonna shut this thing down. You know, it had no legacy at the moment. There's a version of it that could come back where it's just online, but none of my kids want it. Now my son wants a cigar lounge, so he got 3 more years in the military. So I might open up another lounge in about 2 years from now, so that he can have a cigar lounge. Or I might wait for him to get out and then we start from scratch. But build it a different way though, with a whole bar, restaurant, whole deal. I'm saying Sharon over there, baby. Debbie, you'll take the popcorn shop. I did have this one family who said they wanted to buy the name and everything and buy all my recipes, but then that deal fell apart. I only wanted a small percentage that I would keep. But it also fell apart because they wanted to open in this really, really small town, and I was like, no, you're gonna have to go to a bigger town. You need volume of people in order for this to be beyond the mom and pop situation. Because why would I want to maintain connection to something that's only gonna be mom and pop level? Right? You don't want to build it to where it's gonna be have the potential to go at least regional. No, you know, I don't want you sending me a $500 check every month. I want a check bigger than that. We got to make it make sense. But yeah, but it is difficult dating and not being Christian, Muslim, Jewish, all these sorts of things, because there's a lot of us, but we are spread out. There's a lot of people coming out of those religions, but we generally want to meet somebody who's already at the same level we're at, right? The book is called The Scar. So this book that breaks down the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the 42 Rules of Mayat, the Sumerian Babylonian ways of opening your chakras that Christian Wilder is reading right now is called The Scar. SCAR. I don't mind sharing other people's information. Let's go get it. You know, each one teach one, we all grow. But we do need more outlets. We do need more ways to connect with one another. We are being sidetracked by people who are, you know, they're exploring certain things or they're angled in a certain direction. Like I hate when I see the conscious men dogging out women, the conscious women dogging out men. Thank you for the stars, Margaret. Like, why are we dogging each other out? This is why some of us get lonely, you know. And then there are little offshoots here and there. Oh, I left Christianity, but now I'm Kemetic science. So now I'm talking about Ra and Osiris, Set, and Heru, and all that. So you traded in one deity for another deity. Like, why are we trading in deities? Deconstructing from religion is to deconstruct and say that there is no higher deity that's judging me. The only judgment comes from me. Oh, the sacred magic of the ancient Egyptian. Sorry, the book is called The Sacred Magic of the Ancient Egyptian by Rosemary Clark. The Sacred Magic. The Sacred Magic of Ancient Egypt by Rosemary Clark. That's the book that Christian Wilder is reading. Marguerite said, it took me a long time to walk away from religion, to be conscious, and to start finding the truth. It does. It takes people a while. It takes people a while. I didn't just pop up one day. I literally started asking questions at 9. I didn't truly walk away from this religion until I was 27. I had experience being a deacon and all that stuff and preaching when the pastor wasn't able to get there, running church, teaching the teenage church. I never called myself an associate pastor. I was just a deacon who was teaching teen church. That's it. Never a pastor. Dealing with Christian families, doing all of this without internet. Finally, the internet was an amazing thing, technology that helped. And then from 27 on, developing my consciousness, and it's always, and it's still developing. It's a continuous thing. It never stops. It always continues. It takes a while. It takes time. And sometimes you start doing a practice, like with my little singing bowls, and I question myself, okay, am I falling into Buddhism? Because I don't want to fall into another religion. Am I falling into Buddhism? And then I have to realize, no, let me understand the science of these singing bowls and how how it's about frequency and how frequency resonates with you and forms patterns. And then reading other books, circular books like Outwitting the Devil, so I can understand even more so about how science and metaphysics work and how the mind works. And then I read the studies that Yamamoto did with sound and water, and he did it with salt too, but sound and water, so that my singing bowls make sense because it's not about being Buddhist, it's about frequencies and how we are comprised mostly of water and creating patterns within that water and understanding the frequency that the earth vibrates at. So I started reading a lot of Tesla and those sorts of things so I can understand the science behind it so that I'm not walking into another religion. Keep putting that truth into the atmosphere. We need it now more than ever. More than hell and heaven. Right, it's a mental construct, a state of being. Thank you. I will continue. Me being a born again Christian, me being born on Christmas Day, it was simple to see the lights. Look, as soon as that man, to me, it seemed like Black people should wake up from this conditioning more so than anybody else because we should see the bullshit in this book compared to how we are living our lives and our known history in America. Black Americans should definitely be able to wake up from it like that. Africans should be able to wake up from it like that. They have their ancestries that's still intact, and they can literally see how they were their religions, it was stole from them for the most part, and they can still see their religion on a daily basis. We can't see the religions of our ancestors, whether native or African, but we should see the bullshit that our ancestors who were here went through, and the bullshit of the doctrine. So we should be able to we should be waking up like that, But we are the most stuck in this. And I think some of that being stuck, some of the reasons why we're stuck in this is because of our finances. You people don't realize how much economics plays in this. The more wealthy I've seen, the more wealthy people the wealthiest people I've dealt with are the least religious people. They're the least religious. It is the most oppressed that stay stuck in this religion. This is why I started the business page, because it's like we got to understand business. We got to grow and make more money, so we stop praying all the damn time. Do I think there are spiritual things at work or law that have not been observed, or both? I think that it is law that has not been observed more so than it is spiritual things. Um, I leave this existence. I'm not coming back around here fucking messing around with y'all. And yeah, I meant to say fucking around with y'all. I'm not coming back here fucking around with humans. No, 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 no. No. It is laws that we do not understand nor observe. It is the will of other people that is manifesting most things. But as far as demons and shit, most of the time, them demons, those are inside that person. That's part of that person's personality. We call it schizophrenia. We call it bipolarisms. We call it all these different medical terms because it is symptoms of the mind. And then, even when things are happening to you from the outside, it is the symptom of somebody else's mind that's affecting you. Or it is natural laws that are unobserved, we don't know yet. I was told by Hero Israelite congregation that I would go to hell for leaving my unhappy marriage. That was the beginning of the end for me. It should have been. Okay. You know how people say, "Oh, I would never advocate for divorce." I can't wait to get. I got a new little soundboard thing. I'm gonna record that little boy. A bullshit. If you're not happy and things are jacked up, it's time to go. It's time to go. Why sit there and endure a life with someone that is making you miserable and you're making them miserable? There's no point in doing that. If I'm miserable, you gotta go. If you're miserable, if I would tell a woman in a heartbeat, and I have told her, if I don't make you happy, if me being me diminishes your happiness, because you was happy before you met me, but then I come into your life and your happiness drops, you need to kick me to the curb. You need to come in and like, well, Renz, I want to talk to you. You're such a nice guy, and we started out and things were great, but the more and more I spend time with you, the more and more I see how you live your life and all these things. I just can't get down with you, and I'm not happy with you, so I'm leaving. Or you gotta go, whatever. We can't do this no more. We can be friends, but you know what I'm saying? Kick me to the curb if I don't make you happy. Lots of rich I met was Catholic. Yep, half of it is fine, but are they really Catholic? Like down in it, all in it? And yes, it's part of our curse. Oh shit. And we do need less churches. Says she's waiting for God for a miracle to change him. Yeah, I've been in a relationship with a person who's like, I told him, like, this is who I am. Don't try to change me. Them jokers was hoping that I would change and go into their religion. Like, come on now. I've been questioning this since I was 9. You think I'm going to go into that religion? You don't see the store on the front page. How not, sir? Hold on now. When I click on my page, across the top bar, it says the store. It goes home, personal coaching, business coaching, but those are just for telling you what they are. But the store, I see it. So I'm not sure. If you're looking on your phone, you might have to hit the little 3 lines so it'll drop down. They say God doesn't care if you're happy. Then why would you want to worship a God that doesn't care if you're happy? I care if my kids are happy. I care if my kids are happy every day. Even when my daughter burnt up them ribs that she was making and called me to tell me about it, I was carrying it to her. You know, as long as she's happy. Money and women are the reason why they went into being Catholic. Well, I appreciate that, Divine Moon Child. Nope, I don't know how to post a comment on my phone. Like this, it's on. It's Coach Renz, Renz. If somebody can on YouTube can type in www.coachrenz.com, I greatly appreciate it. www.coachrenz.com. Divine Moonchild. No, it doesn't make any sense. I cannot. Divine Moonchild, what's your first name? But I cannot. I would refuse to be unhappy in any relationship. And if a religion is trying to tell me that I need to just stay in this relationship, see, that's hell. Why are you trying to put me into hell? Right? Why? I don't want to be in hell with you. If a person is of a religion and I'm not, but they want to be with me because they like every other aspect of me, then respecting my knowing. Oh, Marie, I was just making sure because I'm actually getting ready to do one-on-one coaching with a young lady in pretty much the same situation. Hebrew Israelite, walking away, dealing with all that. And I was just making sure because I don't remember what her call sign name is on here. I was making sure you weren't that person. I didn't think you were, but I was making sure. She's doing her onboarding paperwork probably as we speak. But asking, you know what, that would blow, but they'll have an excuse. I wasn't able to be converted into their religion because I didn't have faith, or the demons had taken over, the Satan has taken over my mind. I'm giving unto Satan and all that kind of stuff. Come on now. Come on. You knew me with this knowing of who I am and what I know and how I live and how I roll. Why even talk to me? Why even try that? Why try to date me? Which is what I first said to him. Why are you trying to date me? We don't match in that category. And that's a big thing for you. But it's my fault because I didn't stick to my guns. I should have stuck to my guns and been like, nah, you know what? It's not going to work. But that was my fault. I take full responsibility for that because I should have stuck to my guns. And I would not endure any hell of a relationship like that. You've been called a witch? Every time somebody call me a witch, I tell them, no. I'm a warlock. Okay, not a witch. If you're going to call me that, call it right. I'm a warlock. There's no words of a black projecting an African projection of an African than Africans practicing Christianity. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You would think that we'd be the ones running away from it more than anybody else. When you look at the history of it and how that book can be used to torment the shit out of our ancestors, you think we'd be like, no, instead of saying, well, they were just not good Christians and they weren't doing it right. It says right there, of the foreigners among you and foreigners, you can make into slaves in perpetuity and pass them down to your children. Right now. That's what your book say. Mm. You just tattooed the uncle, so they thought it was demonic. I gotta find another necklace for my uncle because the necklace broke. You ever tested them waters? I'll make you a pot of pig feet. What in the hell, Virginia, are you talking about? Hell no, you know, chitlin loaf. Yeah, go to coachrenz.com, RENZ.com. Across the top bar, you should see the store. No, I'm gonna disagree with you. Even though the Christians didn't steal the unk from our cross. I mean, they didn't. The Romans came up. They are the cross had been in effect before the Romans. The cross was made to kill people. The unk was made as a symbol of everlasting life. They were totally separate in their creation. Yeah, it's a website. Does Timu sell these hats? Because I bought this from a vendor, so I have no idea. A big pot of okra and black eyed peas. You making a whole bunch of stuff that I don't eat. I don't know who Virginia is, but if somebody like a whole bunch of country cooking, she talking about making it. It was funny. This is so like somebody had said earlier, where you see your loved ones when you go to heaven. One of the reasons why I love my grandmother so much, she was a country girl. She make all that country food, but I would never eat it. So she made me something separate. Spoiled her baby. That's not Big Daddy King. That's Big Daddy Food Stamps. Okay. I guess whoever Black Allen is came on here just to insult people. But anyway, you know, it's amazing how people think that they can rattle you, but it's like not really. You see, that's the thing. Many people have a struggles walking away from these religions because they are so concerned about what other people say or think about them. We don't express ourselves because we are concerned about people what people say or think about them. Shouldn't give two shits about what other people say or think. Like if that person is meaning insults, I don't give a shit about what they think or what they say. I don't even contemplate anymore. Have you done DMT or shrooms after taking those? I know there's definitely something spiritual shit going on. Matata, have you not seen? You have not heard me talk about shrooms? Uh, Trust me, I like my shroom trips. I've done shrooms. I only recently started trying shrooms out over this last. It haven't even been a year yet. It'll be a year like in November. Um, because I didn't know, things like that took me a while. Where I got to study it, I got to understand it, and then to find a reputable source for it that I know not because I know there's a lot of trash out here, and I'm not trying to screw myself over mentally, or all that sort of thing. And then I wanted to have control over my PTSD at least to a certain extent before I would do that, because my understanding of shrooms is that it also brings out of you what's deeply inside you. So I need to get off get the doctors to let me get off those drugs and shit that the military VA was giving me, and then I tried it. And I have had nothing but a great experience. I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying any of you should try it, but I have had great experiences with it. Um, I literally had some shrooms that somebody gave me like 7 years ago, and I still had them. And I was like, nah, I ain't trying it. Not until I know what the hell not until I get this, deal with more of this PTSD stuff, and didn't have to, um, and can be in the midst of one of those dreams, and could tap and recognize that what it is. But shrooms, they do to me. They open my mind to see even more. Right. Oh, I'm probably am being trolled in the chat room and YouTube, but I could care less. I even have an idea as to who one of the persons is. I hope I could be wrong. At the end of the day, doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong about who the person is. It doesn't. It's definitely dangerous. You ended up in Mexico, no keys, wallet, or phone. That was a crazy week. Oh hell no, bro! I don't know what you messing around with. My shroom trips usually last about 4 to 6 hours. Um, one day I might record myself while during it. Um, the last time I did shrooms, I was on the beach, and oh my damn, the energy of the waves and the air was it wasn't unbearable, but it was like I was feeling so much energy that I almost didn't know what to do with myself. And I wanted to get naked. And it was a good thing it was like 1 o'clock in the morning and wasn't that many people out there, because there was a few times where I was kind of damn near naked. Uh, and but it was an amazing experience of feeling the energy of the earth and that sand and the water. I didn't get in the water, but all that. And then there have been some other trips. I usually, safety of my home, uh, and we. I visited some folk went on the shrooms, but again, I am not telling anybody to go out and do shrooms. Uh, yeah, you feel pure. Yeah, that damn beach though. Woof. God damn, that was some energy. Mm-hmm. Visited some civilizations, the whole nine. But I am not telling anybody to do it. Even though I've had some people say they wanted to come and try it with me, but we'll see. I think they full of shit. So you can't take me into your my age. I don't know if age has anything to do with it, because a bad trip is a bad trip. But it's not so much about age as much as it's about developing your mental consciousness before. I think you should develop your mental consciousness before you do it. If you go into it with any fear or anxieties, then it's going to personify that fear or anxiety. So you want to have a level of control over your fears and anxieties before trying something like that. If not, I think you're setting yourself up for a bad trip. So you want to make sure of that stuff first before you do that. That would be my suggestion before trying it. But without, other than that, and then you got to know what the shroom is, because some shrooms are they have different properties that brings out different things. So you want to be mindful of that. There's a difference between taking teachers and taken, I forgot what it's called. There's one called penis envy because of the way it's shaped, and they do different things, bring out different things. I don't know how it does that, but that's what it was explained to me. And then when I tested it for myself, it did what they said. I don't, and I don't think it was preset in my mind that this was my expectation. Well, except for the teachers, because I did focus on what I wanted to learn. So I started, I was studying a subject, and I wanted to know that subject deeper, and which the divine paradox is what I wanted to know deeper. And so I was like, okay, I prepared myself, meditated on that, read and studied that, and then did it, and then became like, just a higher level of clarity when it comes to that, when it came to that divine paradox, and then even more so beyond the divine paradox. Yeah, so you were doing it while you were deconstructing. See, you're in the process of deconstructing, and you haven't like really got past all this. It's like a 12-step program. You haven't gotten past certain things, and you're still got one foot in, one foot out. It could throw you off. My son and I should try it. I smoke a lot of weed in my life. Um, to each his own. I cannot promote anything because ain't nobody coming back and say, "Well, Coach Renz said I should do this." No, fuck you. No, you're not. I used to do this ritual every year around my birthday, 3 days before my born day. I would know somebody who could get me some weed, and just during that time, I would meditate those 3 days prior to it. And then my meditation was always focused on what the previous year was about. How have I grown? Where do I want to go? And what are the things to get me there? And then both physical world and spiritual world in those 3 days. And then I would use the weed during that time frame. But me and weed are just not friends. We just not friends. Johnny, if that's what you're saying, then you have no idea what my page is about. Because you're saying I'm promoting anti-God. Actually, I may be promoting anti-religion and belief in some God that man created. Sure. But if you're claiming that whatever your religion is the God, prove it. Prove it. That's all I gotta say. But if that's what you believe, that's what I'm doing, then that's what I'm doing for you and you alone. So at that point, does it really matter? Who created the universe? The all? We will never know. The all is undefinable and unimaginable. The fact that people believe that they can define and imagine a deity that manifested the entire universe shows a lot of arrogance. Shows a lot of arrogance. That's funny. Y'all, this is funny. Here you go, folks. Yeah, I don't need your help. Did I come to your page, Johnny, and say, Johnny, I need to help you. Johnny, I need you to come to my page and listen to my videos. And Johnny, I want to be your teacher. I never came to you to ask to try to help you. You came on this. So why do I care? Like, you know what? People are like, oh, you can't help me. Oh, I wasn't trying to help you. I don't go out promoting you. You have not seen an ad on your timeline for Coach Renz. Hey, come to Coach Renz and you can learn because you're believing in these religions. Come on over here and I can get you out of these religions and you're trapped and you ain't seen an ad. You know, what's funny to me is if you get butt hurt because somebody disagrees with your religion, I see that as you having a problem with yourself within your religion. You have a problem. You have your own internal problems. You know, if somebody says something to me about me that's not true, and I get upset, then is there a part of me that would mean that there's a part of me that somewhat believes that what they're saying is correct? But since I know that everything that they're saying about me is not correct, As the song says, I don't care. I don't care about what they say. It doesn't matter. And then here's the thing about it that's funny to me. They come on here. Johnny ain't got no proof. He ain't not attacking any information, just his opinion. And you know, what's the thing about opinions that we say in the Marine Corps? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one and they all stink. Could care less about your opinion. Yep. See now, Terrence, I would stop with brainwashing. Terrence said brainwash fools. Yeah, we can't ever understand anybody who can. This is one reason why the Tao caught my attention, because the first words of the Tao is that it says something to the effect, the way that can be named is no longer the way. The moment you name it, the moment you try to define it, the moment you put it in a book, the moment you do all of that, you've taken what is infinite and made it finite. And when it becomes finite, it is no longer that to which it really is. So then you're not even actually focused on the all. And the all doesn't even desire for you to be focused on it. It has no needs. You see, a deity that has needs is not the deity. A deity that has, I need you to love me, I need you to praise me, I need you to validate me, I need you to sacrifice for me, I'm jealous, I'm angry. A deity that has all of those human like qualities is not the all. That's a human. That's a finite being. And why would I, as a finite being in this body, I'm an infinite being inside of the finite being, but why would I, but I'm still finite in comparison to the all. Why would I give my allegiance to another finite being? Hell to no. It is undeserving of such. But they do it all the time. You go to the beach and you don't know what the hell is in the ocean. The ocean is so mysterious. We can see surface, but the creator love. But in the deep of the ocean, we don't know the depths of God. Exactly. The ocean is a great example of it. Because these people who write these books and who have these religions, they are, as you said earlier, they are a drop. They have a drop in the ocean. That's all it is, a drop. And most of their drop is filled with piss because they have no idea to the depths. Just like we don't know the depths of our current ocean. How do these people think they know the depths of the all? It's an improbability. There's a mosquito in here. Hey man, you might want to go outside, bro. Because what we don't do is share. Okay? Can't have none of my blood. But if you try to take some of my blood, you won't have a problem. Just let you know. So you might want to go outside. I'm trying to talk to a mosquito, y'all. Trying to give him an opportunity to live. Their life is only this long. Being the all knowing, why the need for so much suffering to validate your position? Exactly, Trina. Exactly. In order for you to be with me, in order for you to come and join with me, you have to suffer. You got to suffer on this planet. Then you got to make other things suffer, like sacrifice some animals. But if you don't choose to be with me, because I'm gonna give you the free choice, as they say. If you don't choose to be with me, then I'm gonna sentence you to an eternity of hellfire and brimstone and torment. That's not a choice. That's an ultimatum. That's an ultimatum. Love me, respect me, or I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. So, okay, Trina says she does that with bugs. So we were talking about uh, dating as a being conscious and dating. So since Trina is right there, Trina, I'm gonna ask you a question. If a man came to you and said, "Hey, you either you love me, and if you love me, I'm gonna pay all your bills. I'm gonna take care of you. But you need to give me credit for all my taking care of you every day, all fucking day long. You just need to be in the house praising the shit out of me all day. But if you don't do that, Trina, I'm gonna beat the shit out you all day, all night, burn you, cut you, torment the shit out of you." Would you call that love? And would you call that free will? I'm just saying, who would call that love? Who would call that free will? No one would. But yet, these people in these religious books, whether Christian or Muslim, are saying that is love. That's love. As I said earlier, if I gotta sit up in heaven and just praise this dude all day, I'm gonna resent it. You mean I was on? I'd rather be on earth than be in heaven. At least on earth, I can go and see the beauty of a mountain. I can go see the beauty of the beach. I can go visit the winter because I'm not going to live it. I can go visit the winter and appreciate the beauty of snow. And I can go visit the desert and appreciate the beauty of the desert. I can have friends. I can have conversations. All those beautiful things. Have children. Appreciate the beauty of watching my children grow into the adults that they are now. On earth, at least I can do all that. I can watch nature. But in heaven, I'm just praising this deity all day. Right, not at all. That's control. When you tell a joker to kick rocks, exactly. But in heaven, I'm praising you all day. That's hell. This look, the Christians don't want me coming to their heaven because I'm gonna call them revolt. I'm gonna be like sitting there, we praising, oh there, Adonai, Adonai, whatever the words that in Revelation say you're gonna be doing all day. Hey man, I know we ain't you tired of this? It's been about 3,000 years, and we've been doing the same shit every day, every day. Only when them 12 trees produce some fruit, then we get to go do a little something different for a minute, just enough to eat, take a bite. But man, ain't you tired of this bullshit? I'm tired of this bullshit. I think we need to. I think we need to start. We need to go back to Earth. We need to get the hell out of here. Maybe down in hell they're doing something different. You with me? Hey, talk to some more people. Hey man, ain't you tired of doing this all day? Ah, ah. I'm serious. They don't want me in their heaven because that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. Starting it. And then all of a sudden there's gonna be a whole big crowd. You're just gonna be standing there. Yo, Jay, we ain't about this life no more, bro. Look, just send us to Earth. We'll be all right. We'll just do Earth over and over again. All right, we'll just do Earth over and over again. But we ain't doing this. We're not doing this. I'm not about this. Right, that isn't love. Love definitely love is definitely what is described in the characteristics of Christ if he existed and did what he did. That's why they killed him and went against their right. If he existed, Jesus actually does represent more love than that the God of the Old Testament. Sure, definitely. That is why the Gnostics were like, nah, Jesus was talking about a different God than the Old Testament God. There ain't no way they the same. They different. Even though Jesus was still lacking, didn't go against slavery and didn't go against the ill treatment of women, except for that one example of a story that was added. I told you to go outside. I missed anyway. SU in Yoruba religion is the devil, but really he's just a trickster and messenger to them. Evil is something you learn from, not something trying to destroy you like Christian. You would be to let me read. So when I was learning about Ifa, I didn't even met I forgot what he called, the guy in Nigeria who's in charge of the Elay that's here in Atlanta. But I know he sent back some robes of Eshu and said that even I don't have to go through all the process, but I will be a priest of Eshu. And you're absolutely right, because I understood that right from about Eshu in the very beginning. As soon as they described him, I was like, so they call him a trickster, but he's not a trickster. He maneuvers you and tricks you into coming into your own understanding of what's better for you. So I understood him being that crossroads, represented by the crossroads and Eshu like cigars. So I understand that about Eshu, and it's not like this devil thing. It's all about moving you in the right direction. So you're ready to be abducted by aliens, then go to their white heaven. Yep. Anytime somebody has come to me and said the power of prayer has done something, I've always been able to, at some point, find what the actual causation is. Now, I do believe that energy affects things. That I'll give you. Yeah, I realize that the sound went out. I do realize that energy does affect things, but um, for every cause, there is an effect. And I don't need prayer because prayer would not do anything for me. And where you say I need prayer, I would say that you need knowledge and an open mind. So, Keith, you say that we sound racist saying that there's a white heaven that when what you say a white heaven, it's a Jewish heaven, not a white. Oh my God, people. Okay, you have to understand, and maybe okay, what I need you to understand is that Christianity for the colonized people of Africa and African Americans and the native people in America is very white. Okay, the images that are created are white. And for people who deconstructed from this religion, we don't believe that it exists in the format to which y'all are talking about anyway. But it has been painted to us in that way. For you, it has always been white. So, and it has always been dominated by white. So it's easier for you to say it's everyone. But for people who have been oppressed and their ancestors have been oppressed by it, it is white because it does not have color in it. I mean, think about how the Mormons said that a black person can only go to heaven if they're the servant of the two white male and the woman and man male couple, and they are servants even in heaven. That not more than a little over 100 years ago, it was being taught that black people didn't have souls. Okay, so if you cannot, that does not make us racist. The racism happened that created the thoughts. We're not saying that white people, we want to oppress white people. That's racism. When you want to oppress another group or think you're better than the other group, that's not what anyone here said. It is the picture that is painted by white people that creates the statement of white heaven. And I lost it, but I don't think people know the Old Testament God is not the God. They think there were other gods. Oh yeah, the Old Testament God admits that there were other gods, and was mad that people were worshiping those other gods. It's Enki, Enlil. They just took the Sumerian religion. Yeah, I'd rather go. Yeah, I'm telling you, if I go to hell, I'm gonna take over hell. I'm gonna have a party. SU colors are red. I thought his color was blue. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's been a while. Greetings from Germany. I hate when people come on here from Germany because I can't go to Germany and get me one of them kebab sandwiches. You know, love them kebab sandwiches. That little sauce on it and a little pepper and a little cucumber. Okay, red. I can't turn the volume. The volume is. Sorry about that. I can't raise the volume on here for YouTube. I'm going to look into one platform that I can just stream everything. I know that I'm not. I know that I'm not saying he was righteous, but remember that there were Bibles here before the King James. All the Bibles going back. Okay, I don't know what y'all talking about something different. Oh, you that was coming to somebody else. Yeah. Okay, so you understand what I'm saying, Keith? But yeah. So the volume's good now on YouTube. All right, good. So you got a best friend that lives in hell, and then you got some language there. I don't know what it means. And he loves what's that? I can't tell if that Greek or ancient Hebrew. It's like, but yeah, I can't I can't get down with their visions of heaven and hell. I remember one time I was teaching the teenagers when I was still in the church. This is at towards the latter end, and the teenagers were like, "What is hell heaven like?" And I remember, uh, good. Congratulations on leaving organized religion, Keith. That is what this channel is about. I remember because I remember when I asked my grandmother, "What is heaven like?" I was like, "Being in church all day." I was like, "Oh hell no." So I acted an ass for a year, and then they finally asked me like, "Why are you acting out?" And I said, "Because maybe if I'm bad enough, I can get a good job in hell. Because I don't want to go to heaven. Heaven bored, right?" Uh, so when the teenagers asked me, I was like, "The Bible tells you that heaven is praising God all day, but I want you guys to imagine what would be the best place you could like if you could create heaven. What would it look like?" And they went through this process, and they're creating heaven. I mean, they talking about roller coasters and the best food and beaches and all kind of stuff. And I told them, whatever you can imagine, that's what heaven is. The best thing, all the things that makes life great for you, that's heaven. Imagine that. And get that in your mind and be able to, this is, I was like, what, 26, 25, 26 when I'm telling them this. So, of course, my thought process was not as developed as it is right now. But I was still trying to, this church thing. But it's imagining the greatest life ever, the greatest time. You're never bored with it. You know, it's not the same 23 activities that you do in your life, the 23 foods that you eat, the 23. Most people do things in 23, in the number 23. You wear the same 23 outfits, no more than 23. You eat no more than 23 of the same foods over and over again. Everything you do in your life is repetitive at max, and it maxes out around 23, right? Go beyond that. Go beyond what you're accustomed to. Imagine life greater than you've ever imagined. Like, go as far as you can. And then when you get that far, try to push it further. And everything that's in that vision brings you joy, happiness, peace, love, excitement, all the things that gives you good feelings. That's the closest you can imagine in your finite mind to what heaven would be. And I guarantee, and this is what I told him, I said, did you notice how none of y'all said praising God all day? Because why would nobody really wants that. Nobody really wants that. People have forced themselves to believe that there's so much joy in that image because they are afraid of the other side. That's the only reason they force themselves to believe so much joy is in that image, because of the fear of how they describe heaven. I mean, hell. You think about it, they got a lot of description on hell. Oh, it's tormenting, it's fire, brimstone, lake of fire, being torn by beasts, gnashing of your teeth. You know, they can get into that negative. I mean, humans have a tendency to do that. We easily are attracted to the negative end of something. We're easily attracted to the negative end instead of being able to, and look how little they can attract to the positive end. Because think about it. How many Christians will actually say, oh man, heaven, every day I'm getting the best poom poom I ever got in my life. Getting the best women, I'm getting the best ping ping ever got in my life. Every day is good. Like, for all my fellas on here, having multiple orgasms and not dropping in between. Just, and just multiple. Still, who gonna say that? Who gonna stand up in church and say that? Heaven is getting the best head I've ever received in my life. Nobody gonna say that. But if they was honest, that would be part of their heaven. Damn near every man on here, I'm gonna say damn near because there are those few. Damn near every man on here would put as part of their heaven getting the best head they ever had in their life and having multiple orgasms without losing their strength. You know you would. If you lying, and half of y'all will be like, and getting that great head while watching the Falcons win the Super Bowl. Woo! And a sandwich, good meatball sub. Y'all know y'all would. They would. They just too scared to admit it. If I can't laugh at myself, then what's the point, right? But that's what they would say. Nobody literally believes that heaven would be praising God all day on your hands and knees. Your back will be hurting, your knees gonna be hurting. You know, them streets, look, gold is malleable, but being on them streets of gold on your knees, them shits hurt. But that's what you would say. And a woman would say the same thing. His head game is strong. His stroke game is even stronger. And y'all already be getting multiples, you know, and keep going, which is not fair. It is not fair. But y'all good. And be like, and the lubricants is always flowing, you know, hours. And the house is clean. Y'all be saying the same thing. That part of me, all I'm saying is that part. Marguerite said that's my version. She said real talk. Y'all would say something similar. That at least what I'm saying, that would it wouldn't be the all of it, but that would be a part of it. That would be a part of your heaven. The closest movie I've ever seen that did it somewhat justice was God dang it, just fell out of my head. The Robin Williams movie where he went to heaven before his wife, and then he went to go save her when she was in limbo. Oh shit! Till death do us no, something like till death do us come. Till death do us come. I think everybody had their own room, and you manifested your own heaven within your own room. Right? You can go and visit other people, and there is a meeting where everybody can kind of meet up at, but you had your own room that you did your own things. Yeah. What dreams may come. Thank you, Trina. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love that movie. It's the closest. Oh, now I lost you, Donna. Where's Angelina? She went grocery shopping. She was here earlier. She probably listening on one of these things. But hey man, why you asking about my woman, man? Why you? Nah, I just playing. Uh, that would be part of it. Foods would be part of it. Why do I want to eat 12 trees that bloom in season? That's boring. I'm gonna eat 12 foods. At least we eat about 23 different foods now. 12? And it's all fruit. I love fruit. Don't get me wrong. I love fruit. But 12? That heaven is a horrible description in this book. It's a horrible description. That description is hell. And then just talk about water. I mean, I don't know. No, it doesn't say anything about water. I'm not sure if it says anything about water. I can't think right now if it does. I can't remember if it does. But there's no wine. This man changing water into wine. We can't get no wine in heaven. You know what I'm saying? I can't get no ice cream. And really, gelati. I can't get no gelati in heaven. Ooh, we have a problem. This is not heaven. This is hell. This is boring. This is like being on what was it damn on in the Matrix when all they got is that slop that they eat. Eating the same slop every day. No. I was in the lounge one time telling them fool, hell is gonna be where it's at when I get down there, y'all, because it's gonna be a party. We ain't got them heaven restrictions. Exactly, Daddy. No cheesecake. Got to have some cheesecake. You see what I'm saying? How is it that we as finite beings can create a better heaven than what the so-called infinite has created? Oh, I lost you when I was talking about the Falcons. Hey man, this is my heaven, okay? This is my heaven. In my heaven, the Falcons is all about that life. The Hawks are all about that life in my heaven. All right. So you do you in your heaven. I ain't coming to your room. But you see what I'm saying? If the Falcons win the Super Bowl, that ain't heaven for Donald. Donald gonna be mad. But if whatever stink team he got, that's this stink team that's gonna win. You see what I'm saying? We can manifest a better heaven. We can think of it manifest. We can manifest a better heaven than this deity. Like you can manifest on earth a better heaven than the one that the deity talks about that's supposed to be eternal. You can manifest that better here on earth. You really can. Let's say you were to get your finances in order so that you have more money at the end of the month than you have bills. And you got enough of that money to go on whatever levels of vacation that you desire to go on. Go and experience whatever events you want to experience. You can and you can have a relationship. You can look. The main reason why people keep having bad relationships is because of the people in the relationship. It ain't because of the devil or God, right? First, y'all, we don't know ours. If you know yourself well enough, then you can pick better. But you got to have two people who know themselves well enough to be able to match up properly. Once you match up properly, things can flow so well in the relationship that you are in a heaven. Your relationship is heaven. Your house is heaven. Like you can't have a house where you got one person who likes it clean and organized, and another person who likes it all trashed up. No, y'all got a problem. But two people who are about equal in that, two people who are about equal on the types of vacations and things that they like to do and places they like to go, you can create your own heaven within the relationship. So if your money right, your relationship right, then you exercise and your health is good, and so you can get around with pretty good, pretty decently, and then y'all are matching in your sex life. Shit, that's a better life on earth than the heaven that they trying to promise. And you right, Raquel. I am creating my heaven right here. Hell no with the 49ers. You can kick rocks. I'm never speaking to you again, Don. But you're absolutely right. I create my heaven here, and y'all can do the same thing. Like, there's nothing that I fear. There's nothing that I feel guilty about. There's nothing that I'm ashamed of. I know that I deserve love. I don't lie about who I am or anything else. I see how things are all connected, but I'm not attached to none of it to where my life ends or I feel depressed if I lose anything or if I gain anything. I don't have none of those problems. I recognize how to vibrate to the higher pole, higher level of the pole, so that I can neutralize myself in that area based on the mental creation that I manifest in my mind with a natural balance of the masculine and feminine energy. And I understand how I am the causation of most of the effects in my life. So, yes, I'm creating my own heaven. I'm creating my own heaven. And it's a recreation every day. Every day there are activities and actions and thoughts and meditation that goes into it to create it every day. Every day. And that's what you all can do. You can do the same thing. There's no reason why anybody can't. There's no reason why we gotta sit up here. What the old girl got to bash Mrs. Head in and wait for heaven later? Right. Go get your heaven. Bash that motherfucker head. No, they all don't go bash nobody head. I wasn't sure I should write this. I experienced something like that heaven. I'm from MA. Is that Maine? Yeah, Maine. I've been a Pats fan since they were worse than. Ooh, oh, oh. Really, Christian? Really? That's what we doing, Christian? Gonna say something about that 23-3, huh? Really, Christian? Y'all see what Christian doing? You want to talk about them damn Patriots? That's why y'all wintertime last 9 months, 9, 10 months up there. Now, that's why your wintertime last 9, 10 months. Where about in Massachusetts? Don't be from Southport. Don't be from Southport. I got people in Southport. I can get to you in Southport. Bullshit. He ain't have to bring that up. I was having fun. I was imagining all my heaven. I was imagining all my heaven, and he want to bring up them damn Patriots. See how you doing? See how you doing? I need a minute. Gotta breathe that out. That wasn't as hurtful because I recognized that they was gonna lose that game at halftime, and I made $3,000 off of it. I made $3,000 off the Falcons losing against the Patriots. So it wasn't too bad, but I just realized at halftime they were gonna lose. No, so I still made some money off of it. So I was a little bit happy, but then and that's the thing. I'm not so attached to the Falcons that it actually causes me to have these emotions. Like I watch people yell and scream and Cowboys fans be breaking their TVs and all this kind of stuff. Like, why are you so attached to something? You shouldn't be attached to nothing to the degree that it causes you to do that. You know, it shouldn't. You shouldn't. Oh, South Boston, Massachusetts. What's Maine then? Because yeah, MA is Massachusetts. MI is Michigan. MS is Mississippi. Shit, I don't know what Maine is. ME, that's Maine. ME, got it. I know some people in Maine. Get to you. But the imagination of heaven is what heaven is. It is not all this stuff. But conversely to that, the imagination of hell is what hell is. You know, there are people who are creating their own hell here on earth as well. You know, you can't keep making the same. If you know Einstein. I think it was Einstein who said if you keep making the same decision, expecting a different result, then that's insanity. But that can also be hell. That's hell. You can't keep dating the same type people and then you mad because they whooping your ass or they breaking your bank account or they constantly got you living in stress and worry. And you keep making a decision to be with this fool. Whose fault is that? It ain't. It's really your fault. You are 300 pounds. You eat horribly. You don't exercise. And then you complain about your inability to get around and do certain things. Clothes cost more. Flying costs more. Your car maintenance costs more because you're fucking up them shocks. You know, even with a medical condition, because I used to be a trainer, so I'm not accepting of medical conditions because I've worked through most of them. So charge on this one. I gotta go to Walmart. They gotta finish setting up my office space with chargers so that everything stays charged. Why isn't that charging? That's interesting. But there we go. But it's up to you. It's up to you. Like Marcus Aurelius said, it's up to you. But okay, you got some ailments. You can make the best of it. I saw a dude yesterday. We went to this car show, and it was at this mall. And then we went and ate at the food court. When we was leaving, I saw this old man. He in the mall. He's skinny. He got the walker. It would take him. I mean, y'all can't see my house, so that wouldn't work. I was gonna say it would take him from the front door to the mailbox. It might take that man 20 minutes to go from the front door to my mailbox, where it takes me a minute to walk there. And if I was shooting this outside, you'd be able to see it. But that man was doing. And his legs was crooked and shit. But that man was in that mall, and I'm gonna walk around. I'm gonna do this thing. So when somebody tell me they can't do something, a bullshit, I watch that man get that shit done. All right, Virginia Redbone, bring me that pot of rabbit stew. Bring it on over. Since you want to keep talking about that, bring it on over. But that man was getting it done. So I don't. When people say they can't change their stars, they can't change their situation. It's like, no, yes, you can. You can change it all. You just have to change your decision making. For every cause, there's an effect. You can't expect to eat. Look, I'm going to lose 25 pounds, right? Over the next couple of months. I can't. I love gelati. Love gelati. Love gelati. But I know that it has to be a once a week thing. All right. I love hamburgers. I love burgers. But meat is a weekend only thing. Right? And when I do eat it, it's got to be high quality because I'm not eating it during the rest of the week. You make decisions that gives you the output of your life. Period. And if you keep making dumbass decisions, thank you, Trina. Appreciate you being here. And if you keep making dumbass decisions, why do you expect something different to be in your life? Why? Why? Oh, he loved me, but he keep whooping my ass, and then but he apologized, and then he's so sweet, so nice, and you know I did upset him. Yeah, you still doing that? She loved me, man. Yeah, you know she be going through my phone all the time. She always looking for stuff in my phone. She get mad at the drop of a hat. She always thinking something crazy. You know, she always think I'm doing something. You ain't doing nothing. Man, love making good. Isn't that do that? What was that? That why did I get married? They asked him. They asked old boy, why do you Jahad White? Why you put up that? He's like, my love making is good. That ain't worth it. Sorry, that shit's not worth it. So it's like, why am I gonna stay? Why you your woman is always calling you, checking up on you. You got to be home before dark and all this kind of stuff. And I literally know a dude who has to be home before dark. Like I know a grown ass man who got to be home before dark every day. But your decisions is creating your heaven or your hell. Will said, I've been praying for heaven. I've been living in hell. Okay, Will. I don't. Will, you've been on here before. I hope. So I hope you know who I am. And I say that I'm prefacing the fact that I don't cuddle people. You praying for heaven ain't gonna do shit if you ain't going out there and creating and manifesting your heaven. See, too many people in my mind, in my prayer. No, you won't heaven change your life. It's simple as that. Change the decisions that you have made in your life, that you're making in your life. Change your environment, and you can make heaven. Is it going to happen overnight? Most likely not. Are there certain things that will happen overnight? Yeah, there are certain things that can. And you use those things that you can change immediately to make your life better, to give you the experience of being able to change it and build on that while working on the bigger things. If you're living in financial hell, either make yourself more valuable, well, make yourself more valuable to the market, get your budget or your finances organized into a budget, and then invest, and you can change your financial hell. You married to somebody who's giving you hell, you dating somebody who's giving you hell, either go to counseling first, see if you can make it work, try to figure it out, get some coaching. Coaching works great if the person is willing and if you're willing, but if they're not and you're not, then you need to end that relationship. Y'all need to separate. I shit, do bad by yourself. But you can do, see, I hate that I can do bad by myself. No, I can do great by myself. And then learn how to match up with somebody that actually fits you instead of being with somebody who temporarily fitted you. Right? So whatever it is, I don't know your story ever. But what I am saying is that you living in hell is your own fault, is your own creation. You can change it, you can manifest it however you choose. If your body ain't right and you got all kind of issues and you can barely breathe, uh, eat better, exercise. That's really all it takes to get your body in a better, healthier state is to eat better and exercise. You know, when you look at relationships, health, and money, those three things right there are the primary reason why people are living in some kind of hell that they've manifested here on earth. And relationships mean all relationships. There were certain family members that I know that I can't have them overly into my life because that would bring me hell, right? And then there are family members I wanted more in my life because I know that brings me heaven. You know, you got to be able to say, okay, you that family member that I see, you know, you a CME family member. You know, I say Christmas, Easter, and Mother's Day. You a holiday family member. You a family reunion barbecue family member. You not coming over to the house, family member. You know, like my brother, come on over. Yeah, well, I said, is there anybody in my family I wouldn't want over my house? I mean, I got some family members I wouldn't want over here all the time. I don't want none of the asses over here all the time, though, actually. I like my solitude. But there are friends there, my family members, they're pretty decent. They can come over every now and then, some more than others. And some of it is because I don't have things in common with some of them. Because, you know, if you guys been with me for a while, you know, normally this weekend I would have been with my family up in Tennessee right now. Actually, they should be on their way back right now. I would have spent their weekend up there, but I was moving the lounge. Uh, you know, some of them I ain't got nothing in common with. So it's not that they're bad people. I just what we gonna do? I can't see them every day because I get bored with them. They get bored with me. But I'm just saying, Edward, Will, you are in control of your heaven and hell. And not only are you in control of your heaven and hell right now, you're in control of your heaven and hell when you leave this earth. When you're done with this body, you're still in control of it. So that's uh that's up to you, my guy. That is up to you to be able to be the driver in that. You are the driver in it. So yeah. But guys, I'm gonna have to get off here. It because we 3.5 hours almost. I do want to reiterate that as soon as I get off here, I'm going to fix up the classes that we're going. So in about 20 minutes after we get off, 20, 30 minutes, give me 30 minutes. 30 minutes after we get off, there will be the classes listed for opening your chakras and the hermetic classes so that you can learn how and understand how to manifest your heaven and hell right now. And more important, and as importantly, whatever happens next, you are already there. Your mind is already set to go there. This is going to be a Zoom. The ones that you're going to be looking for are the Zoom classes because these are grouped together. There is an opportunity to do a private class. Costs a lot more. The remittance on that one is more, but this is going to be Zoom classes, individual classes, root chakra, bam. Each root chakra, sacral chakra, power chakra, heart chakra, throat chakra. So 7 classes. So you'll be able to go to coachrenz.com and sign up for those classes because now that I'm free and have my own free time, I can do these kind of things. And we can get these things, and I can really move in the direction that I want to move, which is coaching people and continue to do more and more podcasts and other videos so we can continue to expand, right? Hey, we get enough people and might be able to create a dating service since my man earlier, since Terrence can't find nobody. Hey, but Terrence over on YouTube, Sharon, she was saying that she's available. Just letting you know over on YouTube, Terrence. Sharon said she's available. But, so give me about 30 minutes to get those classes up onto coachrenz.com, and then we'll go from there, and I'll make a video, another video reminding you guys. So y'all have a great day, and remember always, you have to free yourself to be yourself. Hey, Terrence, Sharon said, yes, please. Hold on, wait. Let me play around for a second. Sharon, where are you located? Terrence, where are you located? Let's see what we got going on here. See what we got. Now, y'all might look at each other and be like, ooh, he ugly. Ooh, she ugly. No, thanks. But I'm just asking. All right, Terrence is in Indiana. Where you at, Sharon? Sharon is in the Bronx. At least y'all both up north. Y'all are both up north. So Terrence, you go over to YouTube to this video on my page, and then you look up the comment. You click on this video. You see Sharon's comment. You click on her thing, her face. I think that allows you to be able to send her a message. But this is an example of what I'm talking about. Look, we got 2 people who would love to meet a spiritual person that they can find a romantic relationship with. But look how spread apart we are. Indiana and the Bronx. I don't know if now y'all might be long distance kind of people. I'm not, but what I am doesn't matter, But hey, it is what it is. You never know how things will go. Ooh, that'll be hard. Living in where about in Indiana? Because Indiana, Bronx. Both of y'all have winter time. Nope. Oh, black alien, you don't have anything constructive to say, so you got to try to insult me by saying he's a homeless pimp as I sit inside my house. Oh, Fort Wayne, Indiana. As I sit inside my house, you're probably at work somewhere. But I sit in my house and probably, you know what, I'm going to be outside. I might go outside in a minute and sit on my front porch or maybe the back porch because I'm a homeless pimp. He all in his feelings. Him in his feelings. Oh, he got coconut lotion on. Oh, I ain't got nothing to say. constructive. Ah, oh, man, these people funny. These people are funny to me. They are entertaining. People always ask me, why don't you kick those people off your page? Why don't you block them? Because they are entertaining. They are entertaining. I have different facets of myself. These fools entertain me. Oh, dang. Hey, Terrence. Sharon says she's open to the long distance, bro. He said, okay, he's gonna go over there to YouTube and find you, girl. Y'all let me know what's going on now. Cause I'm the homeless pimp. I'm the homeless pimp. Terrence, y'all get together. You better have my money. I need my money. I need my feet for hooking you up, bro. I need my feet now. All right. Gonna have to, like Angelina just said, the Coach Renz I left religion dating app. Gonna be pimping y'all. Oh, you think he's talking about Terrence? I don't know, because he was throwing some insults earlier that was towards me though. So I don't know. I was thinking he was talking about me. I don't know. But even if he was talking about Terrence, still, we'll be talking about people like that. Now, see, I ain't gonna take offense to somebody talking about me, but you start talking about other people on here. See, I am very protective of my people now. You can talk about me all day, but if you talk about other folks, we're gonna have a problem. Then we're gonna have a problem. Because then I'm gonna dig into finding out who you are, and I find out every aspect of your life, because I can find out who you are, like who you really, really are. And then I dig and blast your shit. Because I protect my folks. Oh, Terrence, you ain't got to tell that fool that you're a homeowner. You ain't got nothing to explain to them. Don't worry about that. Yeah, but I don't know, Raquel. You better be talking about me. You talk about my folks now. Because you won't. I'm like Bruce Banner. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. All right, for real. I'm getting off here. See how y'all trying to do? But hey, so yeah, go to the page, the coach page. It'll be set up. The class will be set up in a few minutes, in about 30 minutes. I'm gonna get off here before Angelina come home because there's some other videos I want to shoot and a few things I want. Not that her come home and I can't do it, but I just like to give her my time when I have it. Channing, you late. We about to get off here. So we'll see y'all. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Tuesday we are in Leviticus, I think. So 17 and 18 of Leviticus, I think, is what we're doing, or it might be 19 and 20. I don't know. We're in Leviticus tomorrow for what's wrong with the Bible, as we are actually reading through this. So we're doing Leviticus tomorrow, and that's that. Y'all haven't said what book y'all want to do for Thursday's book club. What new book we started? If you don't, y'all gonna get the dial in a minute here. So y'all have a good one. See y'all tomorrow. Remember always, you got to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations, and we are out.